Yeah, I'm not sure. My memory's a blur, but they've had a lot of interaction. I mean, they're all part of the MY gang, you know, or the My Pro Dota gang, which I don't know if they'll give a shout out. They got to remember to give their shout outs to Mr. My Pro Dota. Always his birthday.
Radiant's turn to pick.
Faceless Void.
Ooh.
Seconds. 5 seconds.
No. Yeah, like the chrono has a lot of value here. It's just to how Savage chooses to play the Void. And as a farming hero, it's very slow. If Motivate Trust finds something here to kind of outfarm the Void, it could be one solution. However, going back to the point of the Void, like, you don't have great Void counters in Motivate Trust. No swaps from Venge because Venge is a dead hero. No natural disarms would say an Oracle with a save on False Promise as well. You're going to get full value here for T1 to get that done. No room for... I think one great way would have been a Brew, but you already have the Timber Saw. So you're going to need something that just farms faster than Void here on the pause one. You don't really want to play a slower pace. You just want to outfarm him when the Void just can't. Like, Maelstrom is nice for the Void. It still feels really slow even if you get a fast Maelstrom timing. It's just not a very fast hero right now when the pace of the game is a lot quicker. And they go with the Dusa, which is a much faster farmer when you leave it alone. So they've got a good solution to the Void here. A big win condition on Motivate Trust side. They've got the combination of their own with Egg Stone Gaze to kind of handle that. They will have to watch their positioning. If Savage is able to get a big 2-3 man chrono, there's no counterplay for Motivate Trust, especially if they catch out the Phoenix or the Dusa. Like, their only counterplay is the Stone Gaze and the Egg. And if they can't get that used when the chrono is expended, they're kind of stuck in a very awkward exchange there. It's hard to gauge. I think the drafts are very even in terms of what power spikes they'll hit by the 10, 15, 20 minute mark in terms of scaling into late. When it comes down to execution, it might be easier to run Motivate Trust early on. They have lower cooldowns on the Egg and on the Dream Coil. For T1, as the game scales late, the Doom becomes more impactful. If you land it on the puck or the Dusa, the Chrono, there's no counterplay for Motivate Trust outside of just getting Stone Gaze off first and having the Egg in a good spot. So I think the execution for Motivate Trust in the first 20 minutes is easier. The issue is if they don't get much in those first 20 minutes, T1, I think they pull ahead in a big way. Doom is going to be really farmed up because of the build-up with Midas, and it just leads to easier ramp-up for T1. So I'm even on draft. I think in terms of advantage, I'd slightly towards Motivate Trust because it allows them to play a little bit quicker early on.
I want to see what the loot bet odds say here, John. We'll bring him up in just a moment. See what the betting scene is thinking. That we are going to have T1 as the favorites, but they're not super heavy favorites. It's $1.49 to $2.45, so yeah, it's still favorites, but not as much as you would have thought. Maybe that goes back to yesterday. They got 0-2'd by GXR, which I suppose most people wouldn't have expected. but it's still T1. Like, they are still a very strong team, obviously.
Yeah, and they've played in majors, they've played with European teams, with international teams, they've gotten that exposure. It's just down to them getting used to see Dota again. Right, like it's a very different pace in this region compared to how other regions play, and it's always a bit of an issue adjusting back.
Oh, they've started. This is what happens when you've got friends on both teams. They just start with the voice lines. Masaros gonna be spotted out by Savage, but they're not gonna want to deal with the Timber right now. They'll leave him be. It's gonna be one of those games, John. We can't even get a word in because everyone's just gonna be spamming voice lines.
I love staring at the banner from Motivate Trust because they're all in the MY gang, so it's just a picture of my pro just staring at me.
What just happened?
Oh god.
My pro Dota, just giving that look like you better perform. All that training I gave you guys. Don't embarrass me. Don't disgrace my name. No shout out to my pro though from either of these teams, which is a bit upsetting. But I suppose we got one last time around, so it's fine. We got one today, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, they don't want to overdo it. Still, do you see our mid lane matchup for now? Puck, played by Fearless, up against Carl on that Doom, and it's going to be a very stable lane. Like, you just farm up in the Doom, you use your Devour, you clear out the creep wave, you maybe regen back with a Scorched Earth, apply some slight harassment. Puck does the same thing, stays at range, uses the Orb. Very static lane until those level 6s come out. Maybe you get a rune advantage as the Puck. You can jump out onto the walk rune a bit quicker and have your supports deny off the other rune. Not a big factor for Doom as he has a lot of regen, so yeah, it's going to be a very boring lane mid until levels rack up.
Man, I love the SCA support pack voice lines. I truly believe SCA got the best voice lines. Like in terms of being as annoying as humanly possible, they got it right. I mean, they really knew what they were doing. Whitemon, top lane. Oh, he almost goes down. He does sum up. You were saying, John.
I would give the Vailama deep Tutzer's throat singing.
Oh.
It always catches me off guard. Like it always just throws me for a loop when you're talking midway and you just hear it. It's like I don't know what to do. I just kind of zone out.
I don't know. I think 496 really got the good voice lines out there. See what happens with the next DPC season if things change up a bit with the voice lines. We'll see if they get better or worse. If we even get new voice lines. So MG top lane, you've got Q there with Masaros. Whitemon again taking a lot of damage out. And again, this is one of Masaros' specials. He knows the Timber like the back of his hand. He's very dominant on this hero. You've got to be careful not to give him too good of a laning stage. But then again, with a Snapfire Void, it's hard to do anything against it.
Yeah, it's super passive coming out from T1. Early levels, you can kind of try to leverage your little Shredder minus armor, as you don't tend to have the reactive level 1. Well, Masaros has it now, so even if you get the full barrage off without a Snapfire, bonus armor is going to kick in, basically neutralizes. Savage has to watch himself here, though.
Oh, he does. Hex is out. They've got the chains, and Q will be the one to pick up the first blood. Savage going down is now Whitemon. He's not going to be safe either. Masaros, he's not going to dive the T1 because it is only a level 1 armor, but he's got to still be careful. Whitemon turning around for that cookie at the last moment. Eventually, 23 Savage will make his way back into the top lane, and that does give us a little bit of time to talk about the final lane. John, the bot lane where you'll see Zephyr and Cuckoo. They're going to be against Set Zero and Jackie, and this should be arguably the most boring lane of all the lanes in this game one. I doubt much action happens here.
I mean, you could try to run down with Zephyr once you have Curse of Avernus, get the slows off, get the damage off with Cuckoo, but you're likely not going to try to tempt fate against a Phoenix, especially if he just dives away. They do actually level the Curse, though, and they're going to try to run down Jackie a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of damage with that poison, the poison attack. In fact, they've gotten through Jackie. He's gone. Set Zero, he will just TP back to that T1 tower. No risk to be taken. In T1, they kind of return the favor. Their carry goes down, Jackie will also go down.
Yeah, it's a shortcoming of that Medusa early on. The mana shield is not great in level 1. You don't have much mana to begin with. You can't be aggressive with a Phoenix Medusa. It's much more passive for Motivate Trust compared to T1. And as long as you allow Zephyr to run up like that and you comp too many hits on a poison attack, you always run at risk. So I think Motivate Trust has to be much more cautious, as once the levels rack up even more for Cuckoo, that damage output's just going to kick in.
That it will. A lot of damage there with that Mystic Snake, but to be too worried about if you're T1. Looking back in the mid lane, very, very even. They were just 25 and 5 each just a second ago. It will split up now, as both of them will also split up to go after the water runes. Never mind that though, because bot lane, Cuckoo now going to be in danger, but no, the Aphotic Shield, it's there from Zephyr, and in fact it's top lane where we'll find another kill. Whitemon is going to die, this time again to Masaros.
Yeah, you just can't sustain against the 1-1-1 build with that Earth Spike out. The control is great coming out from Q. Not much a Snap can do there. They are trying to buy space out for Savage to farm, and he's not doing too bad, at the least keeping up almost with a farm on Jackie, but still not the ideal situation. We talked about flash farm timings. You kind of want to get maximum from your lane as a Void. You don't want to have to rely on clearing out jungle camps against Adusa. You're just not going to win that farm war.
No, you're not. He's Savage, he's already queued up the Maelstrom, and that's pretty stock standard, right? Like, nothing's changed here for the Faceless Void. He's gonna buy the Maelstrom and try to be effective with that. Chain's actually off the mark there from Master. It went right through the gap of the tree line, as now Savage is gonna be able to kill off Q. A nice little return trade there from 23 Savage. Can't believe that Chain's missed.
Yeah, it looked awkward. It looked like it should have landed, but just missing out. They killed the Snapfire first, went for the better trade. Instead, T1 gonna be feeling satisfied. Kill went to Savage, so that kind of compensates for the slower lane already. And one thing about this lane as well is if you overcommit, the time dilation will work against the turn basalt. You want to spam these spells, you get stalled out from using them, you don't get your damage.
Bot lane, Zephyr. Got the Aphotic Shield, but Hex is out from Q. Although Q, he might be diving too far here. Cuckoo is just going to start attacking with the poison attack. And Q, he's gone way too far. It's already hard enough to kill an Abaddon, let alone when he's got a Viper nearby. And Cuckoo just takes the easiest kill of his life.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup to get. Interestingly enough, Jackie's already left the lane. He's given up on trying to lane against the Viper. He's already sort of holding mid, clearing out the small camp. So they're just going to try to secure Jackie some early farm. You're at the point where Fearless can make these rotations happen.
Well, top lane though, 23 Savage, silences out, Fearless. It's going to be a very nice rotation, as he will commit the Dream Coil just in case the Time Walker's coming up. What you want to see there from Motivate Trust. And well, Fearless, he had a rough first series. It looks like this game one at least of the second series is looking pretty good for him.
Yeah, it's a lot better of a start, even in the mid. He's getting his rotations out. For Carl, it's a lot slower. It's a Doom. He's looking for phase boots into Midas, or Midas into phase. And he can go for the value point in Doom when he wants to. He's just kind of pocketing it, but he's just farming up. Again, for T1, it's a slower pace on their two cores. All the aggression's going to have to come out from the supports and the Viper. They do rotate Savage down bot now, so it looks like they're going to go for the tower shove on tier 1. Top lane's already being shoved in by Fearless Masaro, so a straight 1-for-1 trade. No chrono up in Savage, so if they did want to defend, they could fight here.
The Viper strike down onto Masaros. It's going to be a substantial amount of damage. Cookie does not land though, and he's going to try for the TP play out. He might just make it to, and he does. Doom was also committed, by the way. Fearless, he's been doomed up, but it's not going to amount to a kill. So a lot wasted here from T1. Not only their time, but their abilities. Motivate Trust, they kind of get away with murder.
Fearless is still hanging around though, but he is just waiting for that rune spawn. Wants to wait for the 8-minute mark, try to fill up his bottle. With Carl and Zephyr should hold him back a bit.
Carl.
No.
The Dream Coil's out. He's the one who gets stunned as Q's going to move in. They break the coil, but they have the Aphotic Shield there. They all planned it. Zephyr, he's still going to die, but they've got a great trade in Fearless. A very effective kind of trade here from T1. Still, Masaros will move forward onto Whitemon, and he will find a secondary support. So it is going to be the position 2 of Motivate going down for the pos 4 and 5 of T1. Still probably favorable for T1 in the end. Maybe not in terms of gold, but I think they're going to be... not if Carl dies like this. But he's going to be okay. Zephyr comes in, make sure he stays healed up. Body shield there as well. And now Zephyr's the one who has to be careful. That Cuckoo goes down to the bot lane apparently. Back top lane it was. Jackie ends up killing Cuckoo off, and now Zephyr. He TP's in, just gets shredded by Masaros. And now Whitemon, I'd be careful around Masaros right now. He's on a bit of a tear.
Yeah, he's just buying so much space out. Just killing off the supports back to back. They had no backup for Cuckoo up top. Jackie gets a nice kill to pick up and start building up on that Dusa. They're just constantly cutting the waves and making that triangle awkward. They're keeping vision out, they're keeping information. And Masaros is surrounded though.
Yeah, he's gone too far now. Cuckoo is going to be there with the poison attacks. Masaros still has the chains out. Trying to walk away. Cuckoo probably needs one more hit to get... In fact, he is going to get it. Savage will give the vision over. He'd go too far. T1, they will immediately punish him. In the meantime, though, they almost lost their mid-tier 1. So, you got the Timber, but look how much damage has been applied to that mid-tier 1 tower.
It's just one shove away from dropping, and they also buy out a ton of space for Dedusa to keep farming. When it comes down to it, Jackie's just so much more efficient in that jungle. Savage still playing in lane, still shoving bot. No one to harass him out, so at least that's some free space for the Void. You just have to watch how much you're willing to just give free farm to Adusa here. The side of Motivate Trust, already looking for that shove up top once more. Masaros shows up on cop the tower, and they should be able to clean this one out this time. I don't see T1 committing for the defense.
Yep.
Not when their mid is in a more scary spot.
That they will. Motivate Trust, nice, easy tower to take. No problem.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Zephyr and Cuckoo gonna hang around that dire jungle, but they probably don't want to stick around too long now as Motivate might start to invade.
in danger.
Cuckoo, he still seems quite confident on that Viper to try and fight back against the Timber. I suppose that's fair. Looks like Motivate, they're gonna back off anyway.
Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
I mean, they've gotten the they want. They know that mid's one shove away, and Whitemon's just going to deny it off. So they take the gold away, but the map control is key here for Motivate Trust. They're going to go for the smoke play. They've got Finger ready on Q, Dream Coil ready, Egg ready. They're ready to take these bigger engagements now.
They absolutely are. Motivate Trust. They are going to be running to 3 heroes down at that bot lane, and 23 Savage, he does have the Chrono. You've got the Mortimer's Kisses as well on Whitemon, so if they get caught by a big Chrono, this could be a real problem. They're going to run right in, but Zephyr, he's broken the smoke of Q. Now Q not going to be able to get the initiation he wanted. Savage does back off, get some information. You might still want to jump in for a Chrono, though. I mean, you've got the Kisses to back him up. Savage, yeah, he's gonna pop it onto Q. Sunray's there. It's just not gonna be enough. The Kisses, no, in fact it is enough. The Sunray heals him up, and now they'll turn around. They've got the Dream Coil there. Q dies, but he got the Finger out before he did go down, and now the egg explodes onto Zephyr. And I guess they had to catch a bit more than just the Lion. They only got one, and apparently the Phoenix Sunray was more than enough heal to keep him alive.
Yeah, it's just... It scales really well. Level 2 value points there as well, so they can really hold off. They are still coming in for the defense. Doom is up.
Doom is up, but are you going to really be able to get much done with it? It doesn't look like it. I mean, even though you've got that net worth lead on the side of T1, Motivate, they're the ones setting the momentum in this game 1.
Behold! Silence!
It does seem like T1, they're going to have to try and switch things up, try to get the tempo going their way. But this draft that they have, it's quite reliant on Cuckoo and Carl trying to set that momentum for the team. But it doesn't feel like they're quite ready yet. And their farm is kind of low on Cuckoo. Carl's having a great time, but it's still a Doom. He still needs that Blink Dagger up before he can really get involved. It seems like they're going to need just a bit more time.
Not too much time. Carl's just 50 gold off now. As long as he doesn't die in this next engagement, he should be in position to get that initiation for his team. Has to be careful though. They're just toying with him. That Earth Spike and the damage coming out from Masaros at this point is obnoxiously high. So you kind of have to respect that. I think when it comes down to it, again, the slower pace just feels a lot better for Motivate Trust. Despite the Doom being number 1, it's only a less than 1k lead. Jackie still having free reign in the triangle, clearing out stacks much faster than we're seeing from Savage. And look at Motivate Trust. They smoke in that dire jungle, looking for more.
Yeah, absolutely. Zephyr gonna throw a bit of a cheeky miscoil there to Masaros. Just gives him a bit of a shiver. Masaros looking towards Savage. Carl, he jumps in for a stun, doesn't get the Doom off. He wanted it on the puck, but the Zars was there, and now the coil's down. Egg is out as well. Cuckoo, he's gonna try and focus the Egg, and they should be able to get it and do. Masaros will try for the chain TP away and does make it out. For 2-for-0 trade, it does go the way of T1.
Look to their middle tower.
That's what they needed to do with the Doom, and I think you feel pretty happy. Carl didn't have to pop the Doom to actually hammer in those kills, so it works in T1's favor in more ways than one. They can re-engage if they want to, getting the Doom off. They can maybe just time that with a Chrono. It is ready now on Savage, so he can get some damage off. He does have his Maelstrom up. He has some damage of his own in the Chrono, and Motivate Trust now has to be careful. They don't have the Egg to play with in the next engagement. Dream Coil was popped, but that's a fairly low cooldown. Jackie will not want to show up. He just wants to sit in that jungle. He wants to keep farming. He does have the Yasha up. You still need more in the Dusa. You're going to be stuck playing this 4v5 for a lot longer. I think for T1, all they need to do is just look for an opportunity to smoke and go again with Doom.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. T1, they're going to take their time for now. More farm to be had. Carl still at the top of the net worth ball. We've seen his Doom before. It just gets stronger and stronger as time goes on.
Shall I do?
It just gets scarier and scarier, quite frankly, the way he plays it. Motivate Trust. And try and keep up this momentum. They'll move into the dire jungle again. Looking at that mid lane, Coil is going to be committed onto Cuckoo. They should be able to get a nice easy Viper kill. I say easy, it does take them a bit of time, but eventually Masaros, he does get it done.
Yeah, they had to use an ult for that. Again, not the longest cooldown in Dream Coil, so you don't really lose too much here for Motivate Trust. T1, they are kind of slowing their pace down despite having that blink, right? Like they're just securing space for Savage to farm. I still feel like having that spell up and not using it is a loss of resources, but talking about Carl, he is still number 1 net worth, so I guess if you're still farming like this, you really don't mind. Aside from Motivate Trust, their only real farm core is Jackie. So it's almost like a battle of versus so where now is holding even. It's used for T1. Like Savage is shut down, despite dying lane, he will as well as he can. And that just means our Void shouldn't be completely shut out from his power spikes.
They're going to back off now, Motivate. Q, he was... Oh, that's a nice stun out. They got the Doom, then they got a massive target. They got Fearless.
Let the world end now.
Carl, I believe he did that completely. He didn't have... May have had slight vision. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he's fine.
Yeah. It's the one Doom that you want to catch, right? It's always the puck. Manage to isolate Fearless and sets them up. Like, they know they've managed to build up a little bit more on T1's end. However, for Motivate Trust, that does mean they know Doom's down. It's a long cooldown, more than 2 minutes where it's not going to be available. And I think T1 now can think about the smoke once Fearless is back up. Maybe they wait for the blink first, before that point, and just kind of relax a bit here. They're clumping around bot. Fingers ready, eggs ready. Carl?
Yeah, Icarus Dive's there, slow him down a little bit. Hex is going to land. Cookie going to try and help out there from White Mom, but they do land the Earth Spike, and they're going to get a very nice trade. So you got to kill onto Fearless, but then you lose Carl. He's top of the net worth board as well, so he's worth a lot more gold. Now Jackie, looks like he's ready to start moving into that bottom T1 tower and just find another objective.
Should look to their bottom tower.
And he's got the Dragon Lance all done, Mantis done, Grow, Ice Frog, again, giving you what you need when you need it.
Yep.
And he can just start chipping away. He's working on his Scotty next. It's still set up to have that nice spike in gold. 9.7 up against Savage at 8.1, a nice 1.6k lead. And I think that lead is just gonna either hold steady or grow wider. Right, you're a Dusa, you're just more efficient. He is running up though, really aggressive.
Yeah, Jackie, very, very confident. He'll pop the stone gaze. He does have the backup, but the mana pool is getting quite low still. The Icarus dive in, and now a very nice egg out of the stone gaze. Savage! He got caught by it! He wanted to get a chrono off, but he got caught by the stone gaze, and now Zephyr's gonna drop as well. Oh, just a small mistake there, and
Tower is in danger.
oh, just that's not what you want to see. T1, they'll lose 3 for nothing. And we said Jackie was moving up in a very cocky fashion, but it just didn't matter.
No. His teammates were ready to back him up. They had the mobility to just jump forward. They make sure that Jackie wouldn't be in any real trouble. And they find a tier 2 off the back of it. Unfortunately for Motivate Trust, they can't quite take the outpost. It's very far out. But they get aggressive vision out. Ward right behind the tier 2. I believe Whitemon did get an inkling as to where that ward was dropped. And they do get the D ward. But they still clear out the camps, take away some gold, some resources from T1. T1, for their part, they should understand eggs down, fingers down. Dream Coil is going to be back up in a bit. They still have Chrono. They still have Doom. They've got this BKB on Carl. I don't think you can sit around and just play this farming game when you have such big item spikes on T1. They need to get a Doom target off and just find a kill.
Carl, Zephyr, mid lane. There's going to be a quick pause out. This might give enough time for Motivate to think about their game plan here. You've got 2 heroes that could be considered out of position. T1, they have got the chrono up, so you've got to be careful of that, but you've also got Dreamcall Stonegaze back up. Jackie's not around though, and they're not going to want to fight without him. In fact, both teams just turn right back the other way and just start running. Motivate though, they do own the net worth lead by 1k now, and well, T1, you said it during the draft, John, that they have a Void. It farms a lot slower than say a Medusa, and as of right now, they have nowhere near enough damage to get through the Medusa.
Yeah. The one thing as well for T1, like, you are up there with Carl as well net worth. The question is a Doom an equal net worth of Medusa as impactful as Medusa? Outside of Doom usage, it doesn't feel like you have that same presence. They do smoke up now though, trying to find that target with the Doom.
23 Savage gonna move in.
Jackie.
Oh, they have found Jackie. Carl, he'll get the Doom in, and now the kisses are there. Savage, he doesn't want to pop the chrono, and the silence is there now. They may have bought enough time for Jackie to run. Sunray out as well. They're really trying to keep him alive, but now the chrono, it does catch all of them. Savage, he'll go right after the fix, but no, he doesn't finish the kill off. The egg will be out. However, he did kill off Jackie, and that may be all that matters. The egg, what does it matter now that the carry is not up? Carl, he'll turn around onto Massource. They should be able to get the timber. Sunray, set 0, trying to heal up Masrox and give him a reset. But T1 are on the chase. Fearless, he'll be caught out by 23 Savage, the time dilation, making it so he can't get out. That was a much better team fight for T1. They got that massive target they wanted. They got the Medusa. They even got the Pons too. They get Fearless Puck.
Yeah, it's down to Jackie's position. The rest of his team wasn't quite around him. They felt safe in the top jungle to farm. The smoke play finally paying off from T1, and to get the spell use they need. And Chrono onto the Phoenix, stall out the egg. Really bought them enough time to get that damage off onto the Dusa. And Jackie has to be super cautious. Like he has to be aware of the Doom timing, and when T1's off the map, he needs to play it safe, maybe have a support just stick next to him to prevent that from really happening every time.
Cuckoo. He's going to be fine to back out Jackie. He had no way to cancel the TP.
Dire's top tower
Q
is under
maybe spotted here by Whitemon, and he is. Whitemon. Out it. Instead, they'll go up top. Is back. He again going to be targeted here from Carl, but it is going to be a double Doom situation. Lotus Orb was there, so Carl, he can't do much to help his team now. Massaros is going to hold them back. It's now a 3-man Dream Coil. Fearless, he'll lock him down, and Q is in, but the Earth Spike, it doesn't land. Carl, going to be fine. The Doom has worn off. But Motivate, they will continue pressuring that tier 2 top tower. Even without creeps, they don't mind. They'll keep hitting. One of his kisses are out. They do get a cookie as well. Carl is there with the stun. Jackie, though, now with the stone gaze, is going to catch out the Doom. The Hex is there. They've got the damage, and they'll get the kill onto Cuckoo. He'll try to make a run. But Masaros is going to be on his tail. They still try to save Cuckoo, and they'll get him out eventually. But they cannot do the same for that tier 2 top tower. And Motivate Trust, they can start looking towards that Roshan pit very soon.
And they do have good vision here from T1. Chrono is going to be back up for Savage. Could be a bit scary diving into the Roshan. They don't have the information here on Motivate Trust. They did get at least one D ward on that cliff ward by the pit. So they cut off one source of access, but the outpost is just taken back by T1 in. TP ready. Keep farming up here on Jackie. He's very close to the Scotty. 200 gold away. That's the next spike for Ardusa, and I think once you have that, really put a dent in sustain coming out from T1 with their Doom, with their Abaddon. Not as much durability coming up to the forefront with that Scotty up and running.
Oh, top lane, Cuckoo. He got away last time, but that was thanks to his teammates. This time they are not around. He's gonna drop on the Viper. Asaros gonna find Zephyr. Our time is up, so Zephyr, he should be okay to walk out, but Masaros, it looks like he wants to try and force that borrowed time. He won't be able to get it. But take the outpost back on Motivate. They control the area around the Roshan pit. Motivate, they don't even want the Roshan. They want that T2 mid tower first.
Just playing really clean here. Motivate Trust by T1. And they've got Doom Chrono. They can actually fight in here if they want to. They just need to look for the angle. Savage is walking his way back up, still clearing out camp, so perhaps not feel confident against what Jack has, seeing that Scotty up. He is fairly tanky to burst through, although.
Oh, misses that stun. Lotus Orb was there anyway from Masaros. Chrono's down though. They do get the timber, but do they have the damage? They definitely do not. Masaros way too tanky. And under the guise of the egg, they don't want to fight. Maybe now though, the egg is down. They'll get the doom off. No, but the Lotus Orb was there. Carl's gonna get doomed again. Jackie, he'll stand his ground on the Sun Ray. It'll heal him up, but now he's out of mana. Maybe they can get through the HP pool. The Savage does come back in. They'll get through Jackie. No, the Earth Spike. It does get ripped. They are gonna Q now save the day on the Lion, and Carl, he's gonna try and run. He'll get out of there, but what an Earth Spike in from Q.
Oh, he just lined it up. Managed to stall out that entire fight. The Lotus Orb usage, I saw Carl hesitate to use the Doom. He just figured it's fine if I get doomed up too. They need his stun though. They need that War Stomp. They rely on his War Stomp to kind of hammer in the control, because outside of that, what do they have? Snapfire Cookie's it. So they're kind of lacking in that control department compared to Motivate Trust with the Dream Coil, with the Earth Spikes. Just leads to easier setups for Motivate Trust to get their scores in. 4K lead now. They take the tier 2. Map is getting naked for T1. They don't have outer towers left. Jungle control is barely there. And Motivate Trust need to start considering the Roshan before reaching into the high ground, but they've got themselves in a really good point where T1, they're 4K behind. Their Doom is still number 1 in net worth. That means everyone else is just really under-farmed right now. Savage, still stuck on just the Maelstrom, has one ultimate orb up, working towards the Scotty. But we've seen it a couple of times. He needs a Chrono to land onto that Phoenix as well. They need to stop that. If they don't commit for these fights.
Zep gonna run right into Masaros. Borrowed time and still Dream Cook. Fearless, he got 3 targets. But where's your follow-up? Jackie, he's not around the area yet, so Carl, he's going to jump in. Doom's not up, though. Mortimer's kisses are there. Egg to be committed as well. Jackie now with the Stone Gaze is going to move on to Cuckoo and Carl. It looks like Cuckoo is going to be the target. Cookie away, Savage, no Chrono either. Cuckoo, he's a sitting duck. He will eventually drop as they try to find more. Fearless though, he gets caught, but not really. Q has the Hex up. He will bind the Doom. Carl, who'll right above his BKB and try to pick it out. He will back to the base. However, Masaros, he goes right back into the base. He wants to fight them in the entire base. As White Moth, he gets caught by the Dark Grip. He'll die as well. Carl, he just can't land the stun. And now they have the Chrono, now they have the Doom, but it's all too late.
Is under
The
attack.
fight's over.
Oh man, that was really good positioning for Motivate Trust. They were on the high ground when T1 popped the smoke. I don't know if Zephyr was in the range of smoke. If he was, they should have known it was immediately popped. And they still walked punished. They didn't quite wait for their self before that engagement. And Motivate Trust manages to make it work again. They've got the Crystallis up on Jackie, Daedalus up next. His damage is going to skyrocket. And if you don't control the Dusa now, you're in for a world of hurt here.
Zephyr, for a time, gonna be expended again. Not too high of a cooldown anyway. It's not really a big deal, but looks like Motivate, they do have the option to rush Roshan if they want, or alternatively, they can go straight for the big boss. They can go after Master Cuckoo. Fearless is there with the silence, and they just shred him. The whirling death from the chakram is just so much damage. There's Whitemon, he's gonna try and get himself out. Carl, he'll be there to save with the stun. But it's a 7k net worth advantage now for Motivate Trust. And T1, I mean, they're not out of the game yet, but it is looking like a very, very tough comeback to make.
Yeah, it's all about good Dooms and good Chronos now. Savage has to land a Chrono onto 2. Ideally, that's Jackie plus set 0. You have to catch that Phoenix and Medusa. Motivate Trust finally make their way into that Roche pit. Roshan number 1, only the Aegis, but no information, no map control from T1 to contest. They have to deal with 2 lives on Jackie. I don't think they have enough damage for that. You only have Doom once, you only have Chrono once. You have to figure out what's the opportune moment to use that on the Dusa plus 1. It's a lot of pressure. The execution from T1 has to be perfect. They might have to even rely on Motivate Trust to slip up a couple times here.
Oh, Savage, he's got to be careful, but they don't have the coil up. They're going to try onto Whitemon, and they do have the Yule Scepter. That'll cancel the TP. Whitemon, he might be dead. In fact, they're still going. They found Savage. Q again with the Earth Spike. Does get him, but it's not going to be enough time. He still did not have the Chrono up until this moment. They do have it off cooldown now. T1, they've just got to try and just push out these lanes, buy a bit more time for 23 Savage on this Faceless Void. But now he just hasn't had enough opportunity to get his farm up. And that's the exact opposite for Jackie, who's really farmed up, and he's about to have that full Daedalus coming on the Gloria.
It's just the difference with Dusa and Faceless Void. Like, you just can't keep up the farm war that way. They're forced to pop Fortify early. There wasn't really a creep wave for the tower split shot to clear out, so this next wave is going to be fairly secure for Jackie, and Daedalus up, he's just going to hammer away.
Tier 3 tower, no contact. Jackie would take it. I mean, he's getting them trying to find it. Done out, Carl, no Doom. He'll just leave it be for now. He's a bit wary of that Lotus Orb usage. So it wasn't there this time around. No, even if you commit the Doom, it's not going to be enough to actually stop him. Meanwhile, on the side, there's your Doom out, but again, it's going to be returned the other way. They'll commit the Chrono. Isn't going to be enough, though. The reactive armor stacks, it's just way too high. They don't have the damage. With the Sun Ray from set 0, it just heals him up too much.
What just happened?
And now they're onto the bot lane of Rax. They leave the mid one alone. They didn't even finish it off. Cuckoo, he's gonna BKB up, but Jack will just man fight. Carl's in with the stun, but where's your control? Where's your damage? They've got through the mana pool, but that's not gonna be enough quite yet. The backlines, it's been caught out by Fearless, and now Jackie, he can get right to work onto Whitemon. They'll get rid of the Snapfire. They've got Carl down as well in that Doom. They do have buyback, but they won't commit quite yet. They'll just keep going onto Masteros. Try and find that perfect moment to get the buybacks out, but they'll leave it be for now. It looks like they are willing to let 2 lanes of Rax go. But it might even be a 3rd if you're not careful. And they call it. They've had enough. They don't have the confidence they can make the comeback. And Motivate Trust, they will take game 1 off of T1.
Yeah, they look really strong. It's the Motivate Trust that we're used to seeing. T1, it looks like they still need to adapt to Southeast Asia. They go back to this Void. They go back to...
Double damage!
Has been slain by the Dire. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Killing spree! Mega kill! Its middle tower is under attack. Unstoppable! Radiant's barracks under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks is falling. Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks are under attack. Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Are scanning for enemies. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Its middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is no more. Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. On the hunt for Radiant forces.
Money to burn.
Killing spree! Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under
invisibility.
T1 does have a great answer for the big physical course Motivate, Trust, Love. They do have the Winter Wyvern, so they've got their own heal coming out here with a Winter Wyvern. They've got the Winter's Curse to break up the team fight for Motivate, Trust and turn their own damage against them. And we have seen Winter Wyverns have a lot of impact. It won't be able to block out the damage coming through from the Lion and to a certain extent from the Timbersaw, but that Cold Embrace heal is still really annoying. Motivate Trust still get to pick the Phoenix. They've got their back and forth combo. They've got their own team fight lining up. No combination with the Egg Bell, no Dream Coil coming through, so you're not getting as much setup here. But I like how T1 responds to this draft. They go with a Razor. So if you want to run Razor versus Kunkka, you can just sap away at his damage, make sure the Tideburner is not going to do as much, dominate that lane, clear out the creep wave of the Plasma Field as well. You can run down the Timbersaw if you want to lane it that way, just take away his damage and have him pop a lot of physical early on before the reactive is up. That could be one lane you run as well with the Razor off the DK mid, but it does feel like you want to match the Razor to the Kunkka. And I think T1 has a much more tied-in draft here for Game 2.
Seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Dyer's turn to pick. Seconds. 5 second. Radiant's turn to pick.
it's very limited. I think T1's done a great job of shutting down win conditions. Maybe you could go for Wraith King is the Jackie here that's left. Doesn't feel great into this lineup. Does give you push, and it kind of plays with the durability of Kunkka. You just run the risk with a Winter Wyvern and a Razor around. You can kind of get kited around as well. Again, very limited options. Yeah, it feels that way. Nah, like you lose out the farm war against the Luna. There's a lot of push from T1 with its DP closing out. So they've got the DP Winter Wyvern support duo, looks like here. And they've got a lot of push, not just with these two heroes, but even the Luna has to factor in there. A lot of good right-click damage to melt these towers, to melt through the objectives. And yeah, the PL comes out, probably the only option left. So it makes it hard for the Winter Wyvern to find real PL if you're playing that way with a curse. You can use the PL illusions against the team of Motivate Trust. Your clear for Jackie isn't amazing. Like, Luna, Glaives can kind of do it, but at a certain point, Jackie's just going to have too many illusions to really handle. I suppose that is kind of mitigated by the Lucent Beam Ag Shard, but this is an interesting back and forth. I think the Luna still has a better time getting initial farm, but as long as Motivate Trust play as 4, and have Jackie take the jungle efficiently enough, at some point you're going to reach parity with Luna and you can just run from there. Yeah, I mean, this is a team that a lot of people had high hopes for, and they're going into TI. They won some tournaments before coming back to Southeast Asia. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah. So, I mean, they're still looking good, but again, you want more. And I keep seeing chat talk about certain other games that T1's been taking a break with. You know, there's been mention of that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that. Like, it would always be like Team Dog or Among Us, and they'd be like, let's go CS after.
Yeah.
They would always say, let's go after this, let's just go.
Then they got everything in their games. Everything went perfectly. Nothing ever went wrong.
Yeah, you just, gotta pay tribute to the overlords here. Still, game will break out, and again, should be a rather interesting one. A bit of a different draft on both sides. Motivate Trust still has that foundation with the Masaro's Timb and the Lion of Q. So they've still got that great combination. Q just runs into 23 Savage, saying hi to each other. No real pokes, as both sides should be able to secure their bounties with no real engagements. I think their level 1s aren't particularly amazing. You can kind of run down with T1 though, especially if Carl manages to get a good slow from his supports and just sap away, but yeah, it doesn't look like either side's set for a big engagement yet.
No, certainly not. I think both teams probably just going to try and avoid each other the best they can right now. These both are drafts where you're looking to get past that laning phase to really get active on both sides. Like, I can't see either side really going for the big 5v5s until that 15-20 minute mark at minimum.
Remember,
And even then, you might still kind of be against it. Jackie, not going to be able to outclick Zephyr there. Zephyr does manage to pick up the rune. We'll go for a bit of harass onto Jackie. Not too much, but a substantial enough amount. Even chasing him down a little bit further to see if he can get some more. And he can. One more hit. Does need to be somewhat cautious though. Jackie may turn around. It looks like he doesn't want to bother. He'll leave Zephyr go. He'll just get straight back to the lane. A man of business.
Yeah, this dual lane coming out from T1, DK and DP, it's a very sustain heavy lane. I guess you can kind of play aggressive if once you have the Spirit Siphon up, you can kind of trade hits with set 0, and you can see Zephyr's already cutting that Phoenix off. Of course, as it goes on, as long as you're buying space out for Jackie, you're fine here. Like, the Dragon Tail combos for Cuckoo aren't amazing. It's not like you have a Mirana, it's not like you have a follow-up stun. Jackie should just be fine in building up farm here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a look over the mid lane where you'll see Fearless against Carl. Razor matchup with the Kunkka. It doesn't feel great for Fearless. The thing is, though, he's got the Tidebringer to rely on. So you can kind of trade harass, but the problem is when you get the static link like Carl just did, all your damage gets sapped away and you're not really going to be able to do too much. You are going to have to wait that duration out, and then you can start slapping Carl again with that Tidebringer.
Yeah, it's the back and forth time. I mean, as levels go up, Tidebringer has more uptime, so you're going to be able to just run around and kind of get the damage off on Carl. You just kind of have to watch your positioning. I think once you have the X, you have a nice way to break off the link, but that is like way down the line. Level 4 is when you'd see a 1-2-1 build. So for now, you're going to have to just deal with it, and it's going to be a trade of regen. Carl still has 2 tangos, Fearless is all out here.
Yeah, he certainly is, and well, you can say Fearless. He has 1 Fairy Fire, but that's not going to make him feel very safe. You can still try to play around with the Tidebringer, and that's exactly what he's going to do, but Carl could find a kill here any minute, especially if he has the mana. Looks like he does have the bottle on the way as well, so well, lots of mana going to be there for Carl. Now, Fearless has to be very careful of that Plasma Field. Luckily for him, Carl went for the level 2 static link. I think if that was a level 2 Plasma Field, that would have almost been a guaranteed kill.
Yeah, it's still a lot of pressure. Like, Fearless is just flying out a salve, doesn't have a bottle. So you are ahead here for Carl. Oh. Man, this is scary for Fearless.
Yeah, Fearless, very fire up. Carl just going to chase him down and does get the final hit off. Nice first blood for our Razor. Razor, I mean, Carl, he's having a great old time now. We should have a look at the top lane as well, while we do still have a chance. Looks like Whitemon will be there on the Winter Wyvern with 23 Savage. Masros again on his signature Timber, and you're going to have Q there on the line as well. They're going to try and go for a dive onto Whitemon. It's not going to be the easiest kill in the world, but when you've got a line here with so much disable, Masros might eventually be able to get the damage off. Savage, he's trying to help out, but it's not going to be enough. They will at least find a support pick off on this off lane of Motivate. In fact, Savage, he's not out of the woods yet either. Masros wants to go for a dive. Q does have the Earth Spike up, and he does just land it right on the edge of Savage. Is going to drop. Q does take the kill. Savage, he's not going to be happy about that one.
It's a great lane for Motivate Trust. We saw this last game with his duo. It just applies so much harassment. The Luna's no better off in this lane compared to the Void. You do have the sustain from Whitemon to play with, but it's not particularly amazing early on. You can try to harass out Q, but you have to watch when they turn around with mana. They can just zone you out. The good news here for Savage is that, despite that, he is still finding the last hits. And as a Luna, his farm in the jungle, it's not going to be slow. It's going to be very quick on this hero. So even a slower laning start like this isn't going to hurt him too much as long as they secure that jungle control here on T1's end. You can always kind of catch up in that Luna.
And Jackie going to go for a bit of a run. Bit of a chase here from Zephyr. He only has the level 1 Q, so he's not really going to be able to secure the kill, but he's going to continue the harassment out. Set 0 going to try and force him back. Looks like Jackie, he will have a salve anyway, so he's going to be just fine to return his way back into the lane. It's good to see though that T1 is pressuring the safe lane very, very, very hard here.
Yeah, and it's a slower start for Jackie. Like, after getting some levels up, the output of Zephyr and Cuckoo is scary enough to kind of zone out this PL. Remember, the uptime of Doppel is fairly low early on, 25-second cooldown. You can't avoid every spell in this lane, and you do have to respect that. Once a DK is tanky enough, you can just trade hits favorably. So they're keeping good lid on Jackie. They're giving Savage some good space for T1 despite the 2-1 start. I think their lanes are going off to a much better start compared to game 1. Just the state of their cores are in a much better position than you'd expect from last time.
Is a great conductor.
Lane. Masaros again getting very, very deep. Savage is already quite low, but Carl is going to rotate. Masaros, he's still focused on the Luna. Meanwhile, Carl, he does get Q. And now Masaros, he needs a way out of this team fight. It looks like it won't be there, though. He'll try to Fairy Fire. Chains away, but Carl is moving way too quick. Another Chains, though. I think the tier 2 tower now, he's going to slam up, but he's trapped. Oh, he gets trapped by the creep wave. He had no way out. And Carl, he will assist in getting a double kill at that top lane. That'll relieve a lot of pressure away from 23 Savage.
Yeah, that's a lot of value from that first rotation out from Carl with his first ult as well. We're not seeing Fearless kind of get those side lane rotations out himself. He's got the boat. Maybe he wants his supports to collapse mid instead. But considering that rotation out from Carl, it's going to be hard to put a lid on that Razor at this point. And they know the ult is down. It's not the longest cooldown though. And Carl's just going to be able to really run around now. He's just been such a nuisance towards Fearless. But Fearless is still keeping up the farm, and he is abusing the X mark back. So you can kind of control the lane, but again, T1, they managed to get that network lead on their side. They're relieving pressure on Savage. Jackie still not quite catching up in the CS, and they're going to have to find a way to get this PL up and running soon.
Yeah. Zephyr, we get to work. Jackie. Give me a spot of danger. Set 0. He's going to Icarus dive out. So just a level 2 Spirit Siphon, not really that big of a deal. Doesn't do too much damage as Cuckoo's going to go back in. He wants to keep applying this pressure and he realizes how tanky he is. He'll get a stun off. Crypt Swarm is there. Set 0. He is going to drop the Zephyr. Jackie unable to find any form of a trade here on the PL. And Cuckoo just so aggressive, but it does pay off.
Yeah, it's the one thing with the Phoenix support, right? Like all your spells cost.
Yeah, top lane. He tried to dive again. Carl does immediately rotate in to make sure that nobody dies. Hell, even Fearless did show up as well on that Kunkka. He still has the boat up, but he doesn't have the. They're gonna move in though. Carl might dip in his own tree line. Pretty evident though that they want to try and get 23 Savage. He has backed off to the fountain anyway. Looks like Savage, he is actually going to TP back up. No, in fact, Zephyr's going to TP up here. Savage is taken to the mid lane instead.
Clean over.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a position to just dip into the jungle right after clearing creep wave. They are keeping that chase on Masaros. He is fairly tanky, but they've got the numbers to try and hammer in this Timbersaw again.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do. They don't really want to try bothering yet. Don't forget that all this attention on Masaros is attention being taken away from Jackie. And that's your main cause of concern here for T1. Is this PL that's just so far behind is now able to catch up. But now Carl, he's not going to leave Jackie alone. He'll go for the static link out. Plasma field is there. It won't connect. But it does allow him to disengage and make sure that Fearless cannot get the X combo off.
Yeah, it's a really tricky spot because now you're playing the farm war against the Luna. It looks like they have Zephyr though.
They do have Zephyr. He's level 4. Jackie will take the kill, and that's some gold he desperately needed. He's just so far behind in net worth. In fact, both him and Fearless are both so behind in net worth right now. And speaking of Fearless, he's been stunned up. He's going to throw the boat out to try and buy himself some time, and will make it out. T1, they're not going to bother. They force the rotations into the mid lane, and they'll be happy with that. In fact, I say that, Carl still looking to get aggressive, but he thinks better of it.
It's a big issue for Motivate Trust that their supports aren't able to get EXP. Q needs the finger up, they need the egg up on set 0. Once the tome is up, at least one of the supports will have the ults, but they can't really fight right now against these EXP spikes on T1. Level 8 and Carl, level 7 on Cuckoo, they're very tanky frontliners. You don't have the burst and control to handle them, and they're just able to do what they want. They're just going to take this mid tier 1.
Radiant's middle tower is no more. Dire's top tower is
Great news here for T1. Okay, net worth lead at 10 minutes in. A massive lead to have. Savage and Carl right at the top of net worth graph. And even taking stacks away now from the Radiant Triangle, which is, you know, if you're T1, you love to see this. Q. First spike does connect. They're going to try and chase down Savage. A lot of damage out, chains forward, Masaroth, Chakram's there, they get the X off. Savage, he might get punished for taking those stacks, and he will. In fact, Jackie's the one to take it, but now Carl, he's going to try and trade position ones, but it's not going to work out. Q does have the Earth Spike. Jackie, I mean, he's fighting a couple kills here, Johnny. He's going to catch up at this rate if you're not too careful.
Yeah, you do have to be careful about bleeding out those kills. Jackie's still in a really low spot though, like 3.3k. It doesn't feel like the kills are helping him close that gap all too much. The disparity in farm efficiency is just too big between the PL and the Luna. And as long as Savage doesn't die again, I think you're pretty fine here. Keep playing in the jungle. They are slowly chipping away at these ancient stacks, so Fearless just hammering away with a Tidebringer. Jackie should... Actually, they're going to be trading farm, sharing that farm at the very least. They're going to be splitting up the stacks. Not ideal, but you take what you can get. They're starting to pressure the top tier 1. T1 does take the bot tier 1. That's a lot of T1s in a single sentence. The top one is fairly low. T1 does have the Winter's Curse ready if they actually want to go for the defense, and they've got TPs at the ready here if they want to.
Yep. Top T1 tower, Masaros, he'll go after that first. Just try and secure that. Whitemon, he's been around soaking XP and getting a bit of farm up on the Wyvern. We'll eventually just let it go down. Really can't do much to stop Masaros on this Timber now. Double damage can be spotted out here for Fearless. He doesn't have a bottle on the Kunkka, so you probably won't really see him taking advantage of that DD rune in a team fight, but you can still help him escalate in farm, and I think that's probably even more important right now as Masaros seems to love going after Whitemon. Won't be able to really go after the big dive past that tier 2 tower though. Whitemon, he had the curse anyway just in case, so he would have always been fine. Mid lane, Bone is there, Carl, it does connect, Earth Spike, Torrent, all of it being thrown out. Finger, it's not enough. He survives on about 50 HP as now Zephyr. He's going to chase down Q. It looks like eventually should be able to finish off the kill as Cuckoo going to get the vision and the Crypt Swarm is there. Can they punish? Egg's going to be dropped. Cuckoo, he's going to be targeted. They do have a few hits out on the egg, but instead they're just going to walk away. Whitemon, it looks like he's going to be caught, but no, he gets the curse off in time. Icarus dive though from Set Zero. Sunray, it's all going to be enough to get the kill, but what's it going to cost the side of Motivate? Set Zero, he's going to drop. Masaros will be chased down as well. He does chain away. Meanwhile, Carl apparently kills off Jackie. Jackie dies solo to Carl on the Razor.
Yeah, this is really dicey for Motivate Trust. They're trying to keep the aggression up with these level 6 spikes. It's not lining up. The Razor is too tanky. The DK is very tanky as well. The heal's coming out from Whitemon. He keeps himself in a really good spot to not get bursted down too early on. And it just leads to a lot of sustain for T1. And while all of that happens, Savage is still farming. Savage is farming very fast this time. Like, the Luna is just a lot better of a hero in clearing out that jungle. 6.8k net worth, about 2k above Jackie. Jackie being the bottom core. This PL needs to catch up. It needs the Diffusal, it needs the SNY or Manta next. It's just so far away from that.
Cook. He's going to be fine. Fearless, he might be able to get the X off, but can you actually kill this DK right now? They'll commit the bone. The bone will fly in. That'll help Fearless maybe just run away. They will get away from Carl's Razor. Just nothing going the way of Motivate though. I mean, there's still a 4k net worth lead. And I suppose the objective here for Motivate Trust is to just keep buying time, but that net worth graph just looks so depressing if you're a Motivate Trust fan. And Jackie, they scanned him out. They know he's in the tree line somewhere. Jackie's got a whiff that something's wrong. Oh, boy's there, but no, Carl, he saw it. He saw the animation. They know exactly where he is in Cuckoo. He'll give the tip over. Perfect timing for Cuckoo and the rest of T1. And poor old Jackie, he just can't catch a break.
No. They did scan out that smoke. That's where Jackie went in, but he didn't have his TP off cooldown. So good punishment coming through. They should be able to find that tier 1 top. They lose their mid tier 1, but they already took the opposing tier 1, so it doesn't feel too bad for T1. The bot is being pressured in, and Masaros is just cutting the creep wave. You're finding some objectives. you're not getting Jackie farm. No matter what's happening on the map, Motivate just can't buy enough space for the PL to catch up. It's a 3k deficit now. I don't know how long it'll take for Jackie to close that, because Savage is just ready to show up. I believe he's got the full Sanjin Yasha just finished up flying in now. And he's going to be really tanky in front. He's got the value point in the clips up. He's ready to go in these team fights, whereas the PL, he's just not. Like, no defusal yet. At 15.5 minutes in, it's a very, very scary spot for your PL to be this far behind. And you're not getting enough in your other cores to really compensate. Masteros is 1k behind. Carl, same for Fearless. They've only got this Spirit Vessel running on Fearless to kind of get some work done. BKB still a ways off. So the item spikes for Motivate Trust are just pushed way far behind. And T1's just really abusing that fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bottom tower is in danger.
They'll eventually get this bottom tier 1 tower. Eventually. Very slow with the timber, but it gets done. Motivate, they're going to take this side of the map, and they have actually lowered the net worth lead to 3k now for T1. So you've got that going for you. The problem is, T1, they still pretty much hold the game in their hands. Like, the momentum's all their way. They've got the much better timing on their heroes with this draft, and I mean, Luna, it's not a bad position 1 right now. It's one of the best position 1s in the game at the moment. So Savage being this far ahead, it's only going to escalate. Bot lane, Masaros, Static Link is there. As you can tell now, Sunray is going to heal him as now the boat flies in. Maybe a fight up. It gets down the there, they come down but lose the X immediately. Now Phyllis is a he's a tanky boy now. That boat how gonna last? The pop or DP just doing so much work. It can dunk you, forcing Saros. Being a 3-1 trade. I think the positive is they got well and they bought Jackie in a farm space. That's about it though.
It's a farm Jackie had to show up in that fight as well. It wasn't really clearing up camps, clearing out free lane, not really able to capitalize on that space. T1 is way too strong. Disparity, Jackie and everyone else is just by the everyone else really at 1200 cores. Even Fearless had there's not enough resources flowing onto the ball to really get him up and running. He's got the defusal up, so joining the fights is not too bad, but he needs more stats. The Sanjin Yasha looking to line up next, at least the Yasha first, and at that point you can kind of start running, but it just doesn't compare. Like you are 5 levels ahead on Savage, you have your full SNY, the BKB, you farmed up really quick by the Luna. And once you're at the BKB mark, nothing will touch Savage. Your Lion can't get control, your Kunkka can't get damage off, Timbersaw can't, your PL can try to right click, but when you're this far behind, it doesn't feel like those right clicks are going to be great.
Carl again trying to bully Fearless here in this top lane, but the X is going to be there. No way, Carl, he does have the ult scepter out. Fearless, he's going to boat TP. And he's still not stunned anyway. I'm not sure what the boat's point was. If he wanted to tank up just in case, but boat down, TP down, and Fearless is almost certainly just down as well. Zephyr will take that kill for himself.
That is space, I guess, because Jackie's farming. One of the cores, in fact, all the cores have to show up to these lanes to just close out that network gap, but you're sacrificing the big tempo cores now, and T1, knowing that the Kunkka's down, no boat available, they smoke up, they're gonna wrap around, go on the hunt. If they manage to catch up Jackie, it just goes from bad to worse here.
That it does. Azeroth, he's gonna force 2 TP rotations towards that bottom lane, however, towards the backside, set 0. May he be caught? No, they're gonna see Jackie first. No, they don't. They didn't spot him out in time. They'll go after the Phoenix instead. They should be able to get him. They've locked him down long enough with the silence out. That'll be set 0 gone, and now Masaros. He'll be used up. He's quite low on mana, and it's going to be a very hard ask to get out. He's trying his absolute best to run out of there, but the damage output is just too high from T1. That'll be a 6-14 now. Net worth lead going up to 5k for T1. I suppose the game is not yet over. But this net worth disparity, it just continues to climb.
Yeah, I mean, Savage just keeps pulling. He had 11k net worth, full 3k above the PL, and it's just set to escalate. In fact, closer to 4k there, as Jackie does find Sepper.
Okay. It's a kill if he can get it. Problem is, you've got the cold embrace from Whitemon. The others, he's going to move in with the X-Torrent boat combination, throwing it all out onto that Wyvern. They do burst him down. Nice little finger charge there for Q, his second of the game. I suppose that's the only game plan Motivate have left. Just keep buying time.
Yep, it's a stall game for them. I think you want to do that while trying to slow down Savage. The issue is you just can't reach out to those farming spots of T1. BKB is up for Savage, so he's well protected even if he does get initiated. They are smoking around here though, Motivate Trust.
It's a big target, 23. He's going to show himself too. This is a greedy farming position here from Savage. Very risky. He thinks he's far enough ahead that this won't happen, but he's got no teammates around to help him. TP's come for the bot T2 tower, but that's a bottom T2 tower. And you've got to be careful, and that's a greedy position. You know, if it doesn't pay off for you, you're going to give a lot of gold and XP back the other way. Carl, you can jump with the Icarus dive. Masteros going to move in. Carl, now, but they've got the X off. They've got the boat to fly in with the egg and the turret, and it looks like they might find another huge target. And they will. Cold Embrace not going to be enough. Whitemon, he's out with the curse, but he might be a third death. They will get the Phoenix, but to what about? In fact, no. Set Zero will survive.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Okay, now you've got to be wary of this T1. You can't play like this. It could turn that darn quick if you give away kills like that. In fact, Cuckoo. Geez, that was close.
Yeah, almost finding that kill. If they found even more cores, that network swing would be even wider. Down to a 3k lead for T1. Savage has to watch his back. He felt protected by that ward, but the smoke just came out at the right time there on Motivate Trust. And they're starting to build up. You're seeing exactly how they win out on Motivate Trust. If they split up T1, catch them off guard, find those key pickoffs. T1 is not able to respond stronger as a team, but that advantage is gone when you're going in 1-by-1. So, good punishment out for Motivate Trust. They managed to at least finish up the BKB here on Fearless. He's rushing the eggs next on the Kunkka, so the Torrent Storm's going to be a factor in these engagements down the line. And we know how disruptive that is. It really protects the egg well as in these team fights once it's up. So you have options to take these engagements for Motivate Trust. It's starting to open up a bit more. Jackie, his SNY is almost done. He's still severely behind Savage. Still at that 3k disparity with Luna. But if they keep killing off Savage, if they keep catching him off guard, Motivate Trust can kind of mitigate that, and that has to be what T1 starts to think about. We need to just have someone stick to Savage every single time, have him protected in the farm, and kind of play as a team. Like once they've got a couple of their ults back up, I think they should just look to make a play. There's no reason for them to kind of take it super slow. And they can take these fights right now. We've seen them melt these heroes on Motivate Trust quite quick. They just need to stick as 5.
T1 being a lot more cautious now, but you can see Motivate. You can almost feel that they're feeling the momentum now behind them. SNY on the way for Jackie. He's just got a bit tankier, a bit more damage. Who are they caught there? It's gonna be Masaros. They've got the silence out as well. Can they save him in time? He is still alive, but just barely goes down before the chains comes out. That is somewhat concerning that it took that much damage to kill off this Timber, but it is going to open up the Roshan pit.
It's going to be a nice rush to take. You have to be weary of the Kunkka outside. Fearless can just toss the forward, toss the boat, get scouting out, and you're going to know the Roche is up.
That buyback is there. Masteros, he wants to join this team fight. They really don't want to let it go down. They've got up. X-Boat is going to be there onto Cuckoo, but the Cold Embrace going to save us now. The egg is down. Q, a great intel out. He landed on two, but the curse. Whitemon, he may have just saved the day. He stops up, he puts a stop to all this fighting, but Jackie is going to chase him down on the Wyvern. He's made it out, but the Roshan is going to go the way of Fearless. Zephyr, he tried to steal the Aegis, but it does not work out. Oh, and I think it was Q with the Earth Spike, John. A double Earth Spike in the Roshan pit. And they just couldn't fight back after it.
Yeah, they don't respect the AoE control coming out from Motivate here on T1 side. Like, they still rush in, they don't respect the egg, they don't respect the boat, the torrent coming out from Fearless. All that control in a wide area. T1 don't really have that same control outside of Curse. The Curse was nice, it just wasn't on the target they wanted it on. And at that point, the fight was too scattered for T1. So Motivate, they're still keeping themselves in the game. They've still got time to keep that farm on Jack, and he has climbed to number 2 in net worth. The two other cores of T1 have started to drop off. Cuckoo and Carl taking the back seat now to just give that farm to Savage. And the investment, it's starting to ramp up. Savage is going for the usual Lucent theme build into the Daedalus. So the Ag Shard into Daedalus coming up next. That can help manage the illusion spam coming true from Jackie. The issue is, again, they have to watch how far they commit for someone like Masaros. Like, with the Holy Locket up on set 0, the Sunray heal is actually really strong. You probably just can't burst through it. T1 though, they are going to smoke up. This isn't an Aegis, so they got to choose their targets right here.
Yeah, absolutely. T1. Gonna move into the triangle.
Dyer's top
Fearless.
is
TP's out
under
of time. They're gonna find his courier, so there's something. And Cuckoo, he'll commit for the courier. Decent amount of gold, 105 each. Definitely worth it at this stage. Still a 4K advantage the way of T1. That momentum shift is the concerning part here for T1 though, as mid lane, Masaros starting to posture very aggressively. Zephyr will turn around with the silence out. Zephyr even buying his own Crimson Guard now. So really help out the team a little bit. T1, they're not going to find Motivate. And now Motivate, they're in the triangle. It's going to be a hard team fight to take if you are T1. You haven't really got a way into it. Masaros, he's almost baiting them. This is very dangerous. They're going to go take the bait. I don't know if it'll work out though. They've got the low ground. The boat's gonna fly in. It'll make him even tankier. Set 0 still holding onto the egg as Masaros. He's gonna chain away Carl with the BKB. Gonna go right after Q. There's Yeg out now and Jackie. He might just commit. They want to go after Carl on the Razor. The egg gonna go all the way. It looks like it just barely makes it. Set 0. He gets there. Zephyr has dropped now. Savage, he'll get the Eclipse out. He'll try to fight this one out. Onto the Phoenix they go. They will take him down. No buybacks as of yet, but there's Set 0. He'll give it the buyback now at 23 Savage. He's trying to fight. Called him. Gonna buy more time. Whitemon, he saved the day, or has he? Jackie is still gonna try and fight, but they stun him up. Still onto the Luna. They've got rid of the Aegis now, but they do lose 23 Savage, and he does not have the buyback. Onto Cuckoo, the dragon. He can't survive this. He's completely surrounded. The Cold Embrace will buy a bit more time. It's just not enough. And Whitemon, he'll be the final casualty of war. It was a hard team fight to take. They tried to go into the high ground. They had the BKBs, but once they were off, it just wasn't enough from T1. And now they got an X back in onto Carl. Do they have the damage? You bet your ass they do, John. And this game, it's going right back the opposite way. Motivate Trust, you can't give them these kind of opportunities.
Now, you called up in game 1. Motivate Trust are somewhat the comeback kings of Southeast Asia. They take that lead all the way down. Savage doesn't have a noticeable item advantage anymore at only 2k up. The high ground's opened up here for Motivate. They make great use of their Aegis. They can't jump Masaros anymore. He is just too tanky, especially if the Phoenix is around. That Holy Locket keeping him alive, the boat to even stall out more. T1 needs to get better targets to jump first. They need to jump the Phoenix and the Lion. And they need to take care of their supports. Now they're going to lose the first set of racks. The tier 2 still stand for Motivate as well.
Yeah, it certainly does. Masaros going to move in. Whitemon So he's been X'd up. They might be able to burst down the Wyvern, but no, they've got to try and protect Masaros and make sure he doesn't drop on the Timber. T1, they are still a very, very powerful kind of team here with this draft. Even with that last team fight not going their way, you've still got to be a bit wary. You've got to give him respect. Savage, he is still top of the net worth board. Again, I think the main mistake was trying to go aggressive into the high ground of that dire triangle. Again, the BKBs wear out, you're kind of sitting ducks after that.
Yeah, it's that, forcing the fight into the high ground and chasing a Timber Saw. Like, you just don't gain anything jumping Masaros. Like, once you pop your BKBs, you should focus on someone else. You can't really chase around a Timb. Your control, again, is limited here to Dragon Tail and the silence out from Zephyr. Maybe if you commit that Winter's Curse, you can try to pin him down as well, but that's a heavy spell to commit for the Timb. You'd rather try to catch someone else out. You need to kill the supports. And T1 just needs to find the back line somehow. Jump Q, jump set 0 before the egg flies out. There's just so much value in the control here for Motivate Trust compared to what T1 supports do. Like, they've got Sustain with Winter Wyvern, they've got the Winter's Curse. They only really have Dragon Tail to just hold. Maybe you can count Lucent Beam, but it doesn't hold for long. And Motivate Trust just piles that control on, focuses on you one by one. With a PL, it's deaths by a thousand cuts.
He's in. He's going to pop the BKB. They'll try to burst that Q, but there's your egg out. You've got to focus one or the other. They can't focus either. They've got to get the hell out of there. They do force out. It's not such a bad start, but now the boat's going to come in onto Cuckoo. They found 2 with the stun. Carl, he's already down as well. Jackie kills him off on the PL. Savage is going to move in now with the Eclipse, but there's so many illusions taking all the damage. Savage, he's surrounded. Jackie, he's going to have his way with him. The BKB's about to wear off. 23, he's trying to run, but the BKB's gone now. They defuse him up. The cold embrace, it's not going to be enough. He's on literal fire right now as Masaros gets the flamethrower out. There is no buyback, John. It's tier 4 time. Yeah, they're going all right. Motivate that they may get a victory here up against T1. Just depends how fast they can take these tier 4 towers. Motivate? No, I don't think they feel confident. Crimson Guard's there from Zephyr. That's going to delay things. Jackie, he's going to get the mid-ranks just to make sure. Just so they get something. They'll make the jump in onto the Death Prophet. It's still a 2v4 scenario. Zephyr trying to survive, but just about to die. In fact, Whitemon, he's just dying to illusions right now. He'll get to the fountain though. But the Ancient is exposed. The buybacks will fly out. Zephyr, he'll try one more time. Fearless, he's going to TP up, but that's just a reset. He'll X back. Cuckoo, he's back up, but they're missing their pulse 1. Can they really defend without him? Jackie, he's going to be forced back. Fearless is there to help out though. They'll go for the X onto Whitemon, but the torrent's not going to land, which means the boat won't land either. Still, they get the Earth Spike. Back on a Master Coop, but the BKB's there. He's going to try and fight back onto Masaros. Back in on the Timber. He's still a tanky target. Can they get him down? The Unicep is out. He can chain away. He does get away. They're still on the chains though, but no, they get him. And now 23 Savage is back. And the Ancient, while it is exposed, is not down. That means T1 is not out of this game yet.
And they hold on. We still have tier 2s on either side lane. So Motivate Trust couldn't go for more objectives. That was the only play they could make. And T1, they've still got some hope, right? You've got the Winter's Curse. It's a really big spell to use in these high ground defenses. I don't know about the target last time though. I think it flew out onto Masaros. It didn't really do much. Masaros is just too tanky for even his own team to kill off. And T1, the BKBs are starting to dwindle down. 6-second charge for Savage. Down to
Boat gonna fly in. They have the finger up and they're gonna pop it. Carl's gone again.
What just happened?
He's gonna have buyback this time. And I don't think they're gonna be able to make a big push anyway. And luckily for T1, Roshan's not up either. It's a late timer.
Yeah, they get to get some space back out. Try to keep building up on Savage. He's very close to buying out the Daedalus. The big issue there is he's not going to have buyback. He's got to make that choice. Does he prioritize the damage or the second life in case he gets picked off? have a feeling he might just go for the Daedalus, just thinking that it fixes his issues. I think your issue now is that your glaives only bounce 6 times. There are a million PL illusions in a single fight. So you're never... And they're going to soak up a lot of the crit damage just flying through, a lot of the damage that Luna tends to leverage in a bigger team fight. And it just makes it awkward now for the PL versus Luna. Right? You want to bounce around, you want to kill the rest of the team. The illusions soak up too much damage. So the Daedalus maybe helps you clear out those illusions faster. You still have a lot to dig into, and I think you I'd say you prioritize buyback here, but we'll see. We'll see if Savage takes that risk. If he does die in the next engagement with a Daedalus up, that's going to be a Luna with no buyback with an exposed Ancient.
What a game it's been. What a day it's been so far. I mean, I feel like every series today has just been so good. It's a classic pro series. That's what we love about this region. I mean, it just feels like every matchup just could be an absolute monster of a matchup. And we've still got one after this, John. The night's not over. Right after this, we've got GXR back on an undefeated streak up against Army Geniuses.
Yeah, that one's going to be a pretty tight one. Should be a fun one. Like, I love watching AG. GXR has also been surprising us. And I think that matchup is a lot closer than most people would expect. And this one's also a lot closer than most people would have expected, at least according to the odds. Motivate Trust just off to a really good comeback after their first series. And the first series didn't look so hot. This time around, they're in proper form. And T1's just constantly tested. Savage does buy the Daedalus out, so he is short 1.5k for the buyback. He's going to be able to farm that up quick, but he can't die. Just don't die, Savage. Don't take the risk.
Yeah. I mean, Motivate Trust, they're having a look for him too, John. They're in the dire jungle right now, trying to see if they can find an easy target to get. But if they want to control this area anyway, Roshan is 55 seconds away from spawning up, and they've still got that top 2 tower to go for. The top tier 2, excuse me. In the meantime, apparently Aghanim Scepter is up as well. So Fearless, he's got the water park going. Torrent Storm is now available. Always a bit of fun to see our FPS drop after that skill is used as T1. For an entrance here, Fearless wouldn't be too bad of a target. They do get the stun off. They burst him down. Glimmer Cape is there. Q, he's the real target. They do get rid of the Lion. He has no buyback. Photo, there's the Torrent Storm out. Look at the amount of control that Fearless gets out for his team, but nobody's able to follow up. The Eclipse is there. They just can't get anything done right now without their Lion. They need to back the hell out. Carvo, he does drop to Jackie. Massaros does get stunned up. Cuckoo. Still going to move in. Savage, he's going to be careful. He's quite low on HP. Jackie, he's not going to go after the Luna. Instead, he'll try to help out his brother and Massaros, but he's already down. No buyback available for him either. Savage, he'll help out now. Onto the PL. Jackie, what kind of magic can you do here, sir? It's so hard, but he might find him. The cold embrace is there. Whitemon, he tries to help. There's no buyback. Savage. He went back in without buyback, and now Cuckoo, he has to deal with Jackie, but Jackie's just 1v5ing them. He doesn't care. And the Ancient.
Left alone.
Oh, the Ancient. How anticlimactic. Everyone's having a laugh. Like, what the hell just happened? Nobody realized. We didn't realize.
It is Dire's ban. Radiant's turn. It is Dire's ban. It is Radiant's ban. Dire must choose. Seconds remain.
I can't believe what we're seeing! What just happened?
Radiant's turn to pick.
Dragon Knight.
Seconds remain. Radiant's turn to pick. Dire's.
Mirana.
Sand.
Seconds. 5 seconds remain. Dire's turn to bat.
Luna.
Radiant's turn to ban. Dire's turn to ban. It is Radiant's ban. It is Dire's ban. Radiant's turn to ban. Seconds. 5 seconds. Radiant must choose. Dire's turn to pick.
I can't believe what we're seeing! What just happened?
10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Radiant must choose.
Dusk.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Aggressive and put pressure onto AG on their safe lane. So they've got a great solution as well on hand here. Probably not as run and gun as the Sand King Mirana, but still a scary duo to come up against for Armed Geniuses. We'll have to see what sort of win condition they give for a DB as well in the safe lane. Like, They don't have the option for Luna, which has worked out. They still have the option for Dusa. Instead, they go for the Raid King. So building up on these tanky frontline cores that can just run up, take these fights early. The Skeletons kind of provide a good counterpoint to the Luna, which we kind of saw with the PL. And you can cop some of the Eclipse hits, you can cop some of the Glaives. It doesn't necessarily bounce to the rest of the team. So you can kind of spread the damage around a lot nicer with the Raid King, and it does have some early spikes. In terms of farm war against a Luna, you can sort of keep up in the jungle. It's not as quick, but it's not terrible as well with those Skeletons. So you can kind of just work towards that Radiance, then start showing up in fights, or just keep the farm up and wait for another item up before committing to these engagements on GXR's end.
你气不气？你气不气？
It is Dire's van.
Void incarnate.
Yeah, it's a solid mid laner to have here for Alacrity. I guess you could flex it as support if you want to on GXR's end. I don't think they have any real need to. But they don't know the mid matchup, so it looks like they're just pocketing
Radiant's
their
turn
support
to
pick
battle.
last, their pause 5. I think they might actually flex, like hold off on the Alacrity matchup. They don't have last pick overall, so they will have to show their hand first. And in classic fashion, when you're up against Army Geniuses, you have to ban out the Husker, you have to ban out some of these cheese picks, as AG
10
does.
seconds.
They're the kind of team to pull those off from the back pocket, so just kind of prevent them from getting that cheese up and running. Of course, they're protecting their Raid King now, banning out the Lion. Good hold for Phoenix when he's diving through, for the Sand King Mirana. Drain the Raid King's mana, will force him to get Ag Shard when probably he could actually opt not to against this lineup. So again, just making sure their win conditions held in place. And we'll have to see how GXR flex. Like, they're just banning supports in AG's end. They seem to assume that the Void Spirit will be Alacrity's hero.
Ah!
10 seconds remain. 5 seconds remain. Radiant's turn to pick.
Winter Wyvern.
What just happened?
Mamang Daya Darkseer again. Now, they've done this before. The mid Darkseer coming out. Oh my god. Mamang Daya, this guy, man. This guy. He just pulls off these wacky mids. His Kunkka is amazing. He just plays such different mids compared to your traditional mid laners, right? Like, he just pulls them out. Darkseer, I remember it was him that also kind of brought out the mid bristleback, at least here in C. Maybe seeing it elsewhere, but he really managed to use it effectively, especially against tiny matchups. This worked out really well the last time we saw AG pull it off, so we've got to see if Mamang Daya can hit those spikes. Against a Void Spirit, he's not going to block the Iron Shells. Resonant Pulse does nothing against that, so you can just keep shoving out the wave, keep getting your farm up, keep building up, rush the items, and just run them down at some point. I'm gonna lean towards Army Geniuses. I like the mid darks here. I think Mamang Daya always surprises us when he runs something like this mid. They've got great team fight on AG's end. For GXR's part, I mean, they have this win condition in your dream. They just have to buy that space out and kind of hold against the tide that AG is going to be pushing out here.
Toward game number 1, Army Geniuses against Galaxy Racer Esports.
Ourselves for the main event.
Let's see how this works out. I mean, I do tend to try not to doubt Mamang Daya here on this Darkseer. The thing is, though, when you look at GXR's draft and the way GXR's been playing, it is very, very, very clean gameplay and drafting from GXR as of late.
Yeah, they just
What are they saying, John? What is this?
What just
Not
happened,
even sure.
man?
They were throwing out the atomic war references again, I think. Because AG, we had a chat about this with AG last time. They tend to just play atomic war to relax before a match. They did smoke up, but Mizu just breaks it.
Yeah, he's
It's
got to
still
be
try
careful.
for him, though.
Mizu, he's going to back off at the right time. Davion's all right. But he panic. You know, John, I still haven't even played Atomic War. I have no idea what the game's about. I haven't played one game yet.
Really?
I legitimately not
Really?
played one game. I keep getting told about it. I've been meaning to try it. I just haven't had the opportunity to try it yet.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on auto chess, I guess. It's kind of like that. It's fun. You should try playing with Neff. I think I was playing with Neff and Nino, and it's kind of fun with him malting around, just talking trash. It's pretty fun, yeah.
Right,
It's all right.
Okay. Paulson, great fire blast out. They've got the arrow to follow up. They've got a burrow strike, and that'll be first blood. Army Genius is a great start. They'll even give the first blood gold over to DB.
What happened?
Yeah, it's a fantastic start. They're leveraging those early stuns in that clump up. You know, you've basically got almost a stun on 3 heroes each, on each 3 heroes at least, so you can kind of just hammer in. You get that good start in the Raid King, run back into lane. Watching mid right now, Mamang Daya on that Darkseer, Alacrity. It's still a level 1 Iron Shell, so it doesn't feel as bad. But once the levels ramp up, level 3 on the Darkseer with level 2 Iron Shell, that's where it gets pretty awkward for Alacrity. Like, again, Resonant Pulse is not going to block that damage. Mamang Daya can just keep shoving Creep Wave all the way back, and Alacrity is going to have to work for every single CS.
Yeah, I mean, these Iron Shells, I've been playing quite a bit of Darkseer myself. It really, especially when you get that level 15 talent up. No, excuse me, not the level 15, the level 20 talent. Like, plus 60 damage on top. You're doing 150 damage per second with the Aghanim Scepter up. You get a couple charges, a bit of bonus HP. It's a ridiculous hero right now is what I'm trying to say. And you kind of underestimate. You really underestimate how much damage these Iron Shells do throughout a team fight. And then the Vac Wall, it's too much. This hero is getting a guaranteed nerf in the next patch. I know that Darkseer players try again, like not again. They're gonna nerf Vacuum. No, Darkseer's getting nerfed. That's it. Too bad.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Definitely is. I see Vacuum getting an additional decimal point on the cooldown. So from 60.0 to 60.00. That sounds like a fairly Valve-like nerf.
Yeah.
Fairly Ice Frog-like nerf for it. Let's see. Alacrity again. Just gonna have to hold the storm here, try to get as much farm as possible, clear the creep wave with a Resonant Pulse, and play it safe. Do have the chance to look at the other lanes. Up top, Wami and LYM on Barana and Sand King. Very straightforward lane. Just keep shoving out the waves early on, get the Sacred Arrow off. Paulson can't really zone out well, and you do have decent rundown potential with Tusk Luna. It's just that you can't run the risk of just getting chain stunned in the middle of that engagement. So he's playing really safe, just trying to spot out the pulls and get as much as he can in your dream. Still finding CS here, 6-1, so it's not all too bad. But once the levels pump up for the Sand King, that's when you start to get a bit worried. Luna's not a very long-ranged range hero.
Certainly not. Definitely a lot of concern here. Or in your dream, if they do land that Burrow Strike into the tag team, or rather, excuse me, the Burrow Strike into the arrow. But it could also kind of go the other way. Probably not, though. I'd say AG should have a pretty decent advantage. Bot lane, you've got Mizu on the DK with Jokam on the Winter Wyvern. I'd argue this is probably going to be the most boring lane again, the bot lane. You're going to have DB and UK there as well on the Phoenix Raid King. I don't see kills happening here unless somebody messes up.
Yeah, it's super passive. Your DK combination with Winter Wyvern, it's not particularly amazing. Like, you can still harass out with Dragon Tail, and then getting the Splinter Blast off, maybe some hits on the Arctic Burn. It's not like a Mirana, it's not like a Lion combination with DK. So the kill threat, especially on something tanky like the Raid King, not gonna be there. And DB is already working the static lane quite nicely up in CS. And Mizu not opting for Breed Fire means there's no threat of slowing down DB's farm, so he's just perfectly fine here.
A bit of a cheeky harass there onto Jokam, taking advantage of the skeletons that flew out as well, just getting that extra bit of damage. But he will be able to salve up on the Wyvern and
There is little
just fine.
for Radiant's middle tower.
Alacrity going to go back for the bounty rune as well. All things being said and done, John, as an annoying lane as it is for Alacrity against the Darkseer, he is top of the CS board. So he seems completely unaffected by Mamang Dire's Darkseer so far.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see here for GXR. You don't want that Void Spirit falling too far behind. We've seen Void Spirit struggle to hit that first item, and then it just doesn't feel amazing without the setup on Yules, without the items, without the stats to play around with. So as long as you're finding farm elsewhere, you're getting to see it under tower, you're fine. And you just get your farm anyway, get your EXP. Once level 6 is up, the Void Spirit's a bit more threatening than Darkseer, just because of the steps.
Jokam just about to die. Last Fire Spirit. Oh, it's going to be enough. I believe that was the last tick out from UK's Fire Spirit, but it just barely takes down Jokam. And now you've got a DK all by himself, so they're going to try and apply a bit more pressure. And Mizu, he's going to be just fine. Got that level 2 Dragon's Blood, so they aren't going to go too far onto that Dragon Knight. So it is a 2-0 advantage so far to Army Geniuses.
Yeah, and their lanes are just going really well. One benefit for GXR is that they're still finding farm IWD, but Paulson.
Yep. Arrows there, Paulson. Try and run. Nice shards block. That should be enough. Wami, he's not going to go for the complete chase. Paulson just barely surviving. Otherwise, he may have been the third death for the team of GXR. And looking back at that CS board, look who's at the top. It's our boy Mamang Dire, who can really efficiently farm the side camps as the Darkseer. And I think this is the reason why Mamang Dire believes this is a mid hero. It's because you can farm the side camps so effectively. It's almost like a TA, but kind of better in some weird way.
Yeah. It's just super quick, doesn't need much investment, just needs some mana to clear out even stacks. Do you remember the time Vacuum used to drag creeps up to the cliff ward in
yes.
Radiant side? Those
Yeah.
were fun days. Those were hilarious days.
What do you do? Yeah, you can't have everything, John. You know, Ice Frog, he has to remove it at some point. He has to get rid of that crap. Just like he's probably going to get rid of Darkseer in the meta in the next patch. Bot lane, Mizu in trouble, but so is UK, and the Splinter Blast is going to be enough. Still, they will lose Jokam, and DB, he really wants that added kill, and he should get it. They have the Wraithfire Blast. DB, not going to throw it out. I mean, there was stick charges, and he already used that critical strike, so he didn't really have enough damage, I don't think, anyway. It would have been very close.
Yeah, bit of mercy from DB. I mean, he's still getting everything from this lane. 33 to 1, 1 kill under his belt, 1 assist, having a great time there. Some activity mid. They have dragged LYM out. You see Paulson just sniping out some bounty runes and has the haste as well, but Wami does spot him out.
A snowball, he's still got the haste rune, but the arrow's gonna land, and that might just be enough damage. Paulson, stick charges, but they've got the attacks now. LYM, play no games with the task kill, make sure they get him down. And now they start to look to In Your Dream. Like, how can we deal with this Luna? Can we find a burrow strike into an arrow on him? Bottom lane, Jokam is indeed gonna die again, so there's another death on the Wyvern. Top lane, In Your Dream, turns out he's gonna be perfectly fine. They went for a burrow strike, but it meant nothing.
Yeah, and for In Your Dream, he's in a pretty good spot on that Luna. Again, despite the aggression, he's had space to farm, has the Mask of Madness up. He just needs the jungle to dip into. There's a couple of stacks on those camps. He has some great recovery farm. LYM is going to scout out now, though. Should be able to at least get the ward forward and maybe drag his teammates down to clear it out. Remember, with the Darkseer, Iron Shell clears those camps fast.
Oh, it does, John. Wami in danger. Snowball actually going to connect, and they got the shards dust out.
to dust.
Alacrity, his rotation does end up working out for him. However, LYM, he has scattered out those stacks in the jungle. The Iron Show, it's kind of like you put it out. LYM, he's literally just going to go in with the Iron Show now. And they don't even wake
They
up.
don't wake up.
Oh, because the Darkseer is not within the range, they don't wake up. Wait a minute, that's a bit game-breaking, Mr. Icefront.
Warrior has been killed.
Oh my goodness.
They've got to be, I believe Darkseer has to be within 500 range to wake up the camp. Because it's his Iron Show.
That's a beautiful interaction.
Oh,
it's a very beautiful
my.
game. That's one less stack for In Your Dream, man. Like he has the mom. He wants it.
For every viewer out there, enjoy the MMR. I mean, you've got to, in this meta, I mean, I'm going to be running this from now on. If I didn't know that. We'll go for a duo queue, John. Let's get that free MMR going. You can be the Murano. I'll be the mid-Darkseer.
Oh, goodness. UK being chased down.
That he is. UK is going to drop. They get the Phoenix kill. GB still having a great old time regardless. Still, the problem is In Your Dream is farming a bit too well. Like, even if they applied the pressure, even if you've got that Darkseer at the top of the net worth board, it is still a Luna you're against. In Your Dream, he is known to farm very quickly.
Yeah, and he's just working this jungle well. Manages to clear out that one camp before it's contested. He still has the Ancients. And it's not a massive stack. Even the large camp's not that big. But the farm is coming true. DB does TP up top, looking for the tier 1 trade as Mizu commits down bot. He should be able to get this trade done fairly evenly. It's a bit quicker down bot. The dragon form, but skeletal summon should ensure that the top will fall as well. And that should open up the access to that top jungle. It's a timely move for In Your Dream to just focus on the Ancients. And overall, I think as long as your Luna's farming like this, you're fine. Even Alacrity on his Void Spirit's not lagging too far behind. He is going for the Witchblade here. Not opting for the Yules that we tend to see for the self setup. Just wants more damage, wants more stats and presence up front. And he's kind of allowed to do that. It feels like AG might need more activity, saying that they are 5-3. Looks like they might just wait for Wami to finish up that blink before really going for bigger hunts.
Yeah. I mean, you say that, he is currently having a look around for a Burrow Strike. I mean, with the arrow, they can still pretty much secure any kill they want. Apart from maybe the DK. Looks like AG, they really want to find the stacks, though. Like, they've got so many ways of taking stacks with this Darkseer, with this Sand King. They just want to hit right now. They want to make sure they're In Your Dream's creeps. Problem is, In Your Dream, he's in the triangle right now. He's not going to bother with that left side jungle. The rest of GXR, with the vision they have, are going to start roaming in. Probably not going to be able to find the DB. He does have the reincarnation, but Wraithfire Blast going to be avoided. Alacrity will walk his way out. And AG, with this draft, I mean, this draft could be a bit of a ticking time bomb, right? Like, you're going to have the Axo. Obviously, Darkseer with the wall is a bit of a counter towards the Luna, because you're just going to turn the glaives right on the enemy team again. And again, these Iron Shells, John, they really hurt. He's level 11 already at 10.5 minutes. So he's getting 1 level per minute at the moment. It's not going to take long to get to those broken talents.
No, not too long at all. I think you have to also consider the VAC combinations. VAC Burrow Strike is the big one, and we've seen all of these ground target stuns just play so well with the Darkseer. Lion, Nyx, great combinations. Sand King as well. I don't think AG minds kind of taking the back seat here. As long as Mamangdai is still in the lead, they're forcing movement across the map, but nothing's lining up for GXR. For GXR's part, they are reaching some nice spikes as well. Mizu looks like his blink is not too far off. Might opt for the BKB first, depending on how he feels the game is going. And once you have either item on the DK, you have your way of initiating. Still, AG just scouting around. They do have the Moonlight Shadow. They could catch Jokam up top.
We're going to try. Jokam, he's already died 3 times this game, and we might just have to make it a 4th.
What just happened?
Poor old Jokam just can't catch a break. I suppose it's only fair, John. He is playing Winter Wyvern. Everyone hates that hero right now. Apparently AG really hate that hero. They will take him out a 4th time.
Yeah, it's great kill for the Sand King, as that does give the blink. So Wami's got his initiation tool now. They're still keeping that presence up top, but they are under vision. The forward wall GXR are protected.
Oh, Alacrity. Aether Remnant, not gonna connect. Guaranteed to the alacrity with that daily rune. Not quite. Still going very well for AG. The GXR, they've got their own game plan naturally. They've got a Luna. So, you know, you just got to keep the farm up, trusting in your dream to be able to pull through the carry. But there's the timing, John. Here it is. Aghanim Scepter on Mamantaya. Let the fun begin.
Jeez, that's real quick. 12 minutes in with the full Ags. You just run up with your Wraith King with Iron Shell. Imagine if he has the Radiance as well. That's a lot of burn damage. In the A, you do not want to fight into this tanky hero up front.
Absolutely not. Jump in, DB. He's going to be targeted. Alacrity. Just going to jump right back out. DB, he didn't even flinch. No problem. What damage?
He's too tanky. He doesn't even toggle the off dodges. AG, they're smoked up here. They've got the egg ready.
Oh, they're going to jump in. Nice Burrow Strike Wommy. And now the egg right on top of the snowball. He's going to buy some time at the back. Ball is there. In your dream, he just melts. Alacrity, he's going to try and run. He will probably make it out. They just flew. Oh, never mind. Wommy, he goes deep. Real deep. He finds Alacrity on that void spirit.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Army geniuses.
Yeah. They're a team you just can't count out. They're aggressive play if you don't manage to counter it. Their coordination's really good. These guys have played with each other for so long. They've had a lot of experience in the background of the pro scene, maybe relegated to tier 3, tier 2 for a long time, but ever since DPC they've managed to get more presence in these bigger teams, and throughout the year they really have improved. GXR can't afford to just sit back and stream in one by one to these fights. Paulson.
Yeah, Burrow Strike there. They've got the tusk. Jeez, Paulson goes down to complete domination thus far from AG. There is going to be a bit of a rotation now. GXR going to try and punish LYM. He does manage to leap. Moonlight Shadow out, but it's not going to be enough. But he does at least get themselves some form of a trade.
YD?
Now, rather DB's going to jump in onto Joe Cam. He's very confidently by himself. Now Wommy will join and they just get the kill. And would you believe it, John? Mamantaya gets the kill as Alacrity now is apparently stuck.
Awkward spot. He will have a step up and they don't think to check the tree line. So he is protected. A random stun from Wommy would be big here if he just felt like it. You chop a tree, you just randomly stun in. You want
where does Alacrity go? Like, just leave him there. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna step out? UK just walks past, smells something weird. Something's around here. UK, throw a Fire Spirit in the tree line. UK, just do it for fun.
Alacrity. He has 2 step charges now, so you can just kind of bail out, but this is a lot of time where he's literally not doing anything. The rest of AG are just able to pressure that through. He could wrap back and just keep fighting defense. That might be the plan here.
T2 top tower. We're gonna drop. Mizu, he just bought his BKB up. DB just gonna blink right away as the dragon form is popped, and now you'll find Alacrity. He'll just step his way back towards his own tier 2 tower. Maybe Epicenter. Let's have it available. Nice deep wards as well. Just really making sure they can watch this tree line. It's now Mizu. He hasn't got the BKB off yet. They'll make the jump in, and there's your arrow. Winter's Curse will not be enough. They have the Sun Ray. Maybe they can kill Wommy, and they will. They are kicking, but now the egg's down. DB, he's going to rush forward. Onto Joe Cam. Sharp, not going to help out. They push him out. Paulson's still going to try along with Alacrity. They've killed off UK. They've lost Joe Cam. DB, he still has both lives up. It might just keep going, and does. On a Paulson, they'll find another. A double kill now for DB as the Iron Shells. They get started. An arrow connected onto In Your Dream. He just melts. 15-7, 2K net worth lead the way of Army Geniuses. They're yet to find their own momentum here.
No, they're just losing a lot of ground. The buyback being forced out in Paulson is pretty big as well. That's going to stall out his progression on that Tusk. Doesn't have he's nowhere near Blink, and he's not even queuing it up. He's just forced to constantly buy the dust, buy the sentries, the smokes. No resources for anything else yet, streaming into our Tusk. The buyback's going to set him back. I'm looking at DB. He is going for the Radiance. So Iron Shell plus Radiance. Man, you do not want to deal with a Wraith King. Like, there's just nothing to stop this.
Yep, Mamang Daya about to hit level 15 as well. You're going to go for the plus 25% Wall of Replica illusion damage because you're up against the Luna. And, you know, it's just kind of busted that you get plus 25%. You don't need the vacuum AoE. Quite frankly, you just don't need it, you know. And then level 20 comes around. Now, do you want the minus 30-second cooldown on Wall of Replica? Because it is valuable against the Luna. Or you could go for the plus 60 Iron Shell damage, which is, you know, makes it 150 damage per second. 2 charges, by the way, so theoretically 300 damage, assuming you have 2 heroes around. But you can get 3 charges out. So you can have 450 damage per second on somebody. You can. I've tested it, John.
Yeah, it's a ton. I think the long play is Wall of Replica cooldown, just because 30 seconds is a massive amount to take off. Like, that's 30% of your CD. Way more than any CD or item can give you on the Darkseer. So it gives you more uptime for the fights, allows you to just constantly commit even on a single hero, and I think that's what enables, especially how Mamang Dai has been playing it. I think he has leaned towards the cooldown. I don't think damage will be an issue at that point. Like, the Wraith King, the burn coming out with the Radiance is going to be enough with the Iron Shell, and then you're going to have his right-click damage skyrockets. I'm disappointed now. DB switches out the Radiance for the AC instead. And he has the Sanj up, so no fun here, no ultra burn game, but...
They jump in, Mizu. He's a Davion, he's a DK, he's going to be alright. He pops a Dragon Form, in fact. He just wants to kind of clear out the creep wave so they can't go for that tier 2 top tower push. But the cavalry is coming in from AG. DB, he has... Well, that's a nice blink right onto Mizu. Right on target, but his team's not close enough to really capitalize on that.
His top tower has fallen.
There's a DD rune at the top rune spot. Scouted out by Mamang Daya. Of course, he doesn't need it himself, but he will save it for DB, who might just go for a Roshan now.
Yeah, that's going to be big. Once you take the Rosh, potentially 3 lives in Wraith King, and DB... I think we've seen AG do that before, where they just toss DB up, go back, reset, toss him back up, bait it out, because they've got such big safety nets, and just slowly whittle away from objectives. GXR has to watch for that smoke out here.
Mizu gets caught. He's not as tank with man-shots on top of him. He's going to have to try and run and pop the BKB. Also, they're going to find Paulson. Doug gets beats right in the shards, but he blocks himself in. He's trying to protect himself with the shards. He'll move back down towards Mamang Daya, but it doesn't get any better over there, so... But DB still gets the kill somehow.
What just happened?
Towards the top lane, your tree arrow is going to connect. They found the Luna. Great map movement out from Army Geniuses, and now with this DD rune still active, it's right into the Roshan.
Oh yeah, they're going to be able to clear this out, no problems. GXR could maybe play cheekily here, go for a Winter's Curse play, but they don't have the numbers to follow through, and I don't think they'll be able to take care of EB twice over. So first Roche, going the way of AG. They've got the control up top as well, they've got the outpost, they've got the vision. They're still playing around. Wam is just actually hunting. He leaves his team. He wants to just clear out the wave. Could catch out Jokam, who's under a ward.
Yep, Jokam. Burrow strikes there. They have the vision, the arrow to follow up. Yeah. See you later, Jokam. GXR, they just can't find their footing. Like, it doesn't matter how much In Your Dreams farmed, because they've got so many counters. They can stun him forever. They've got better illusions than the... Like, Mamang Daya just makes a better copy of you. And you can't do anything about it either. In fact, mid lane now, Mizu, he's forced to BKB TP. God forbid the egg exploded before his TP finished. And Wami will give UK the tip.
He did force out BKB use. I think that's actually worthwhile. It's down to 7 seconds now on Mizu. He's their big front line here on GXR. If they don't land the curse, then it all relies on the DK to get that jump initiation in. And every single time, he's just forced to use that BKB defensively. GXR, though, knowing Egg is down, they do smoke up. They might look to find an isolated hero here. UK is under a ward. In fact, we were all through that ramp ward a bit, so we could look for a target.
Absolutely. GXR. Moving up. Snowball is there. They found a very nice target in the Phoenix. He doesn't have egg anyway. UK, he's going to try and get away, but no. But in your dream, died to DB. So they got the Phoenix, but they lost their carry, and now Army Geniuses, they obviously just want to keep going.
Yeah, nothing to stop this. Like, they've got the Aegis on DB, they can do the slow siege into the high ground. There is a blink up now on Mizu, so you can kind of blink initiate Swami.
It's there, DB, he's got the follow-up stun. Who needs an arrow anyway? Paulson, he'll go for a snowball, he'll find some time. DB's gonna have his way with him.
I've killed.
Alacrity, be very careful, sir. That is a very scary Wraith King and a very scary arrow coming in from LYM. They find Alacrity. They even found Mizu. The curse is there, though. They at least kill off Wami, but DB's not done yet. Chase down the BKB Dragon Knight. Does he want to dive tier 4s? He thought about it. He won't go all the way, though. Instead, it looks like they're going to go for that top tier 3 tower.
What just happened?
They still have the mid-tier 2 being shoved in by the creep wave as well. They can go for all these objectives. Again, they've got Aegis on the Wraith King. He's probably not just
Arrow
and die.
Arrow comes in, it saves the day. DB, he's going to be fine to walk out. I suppose now you can just go back to the mid-tier 2 tower.
Yeah. They're just forcing all the movement out on GXR.
Oh boy.
And they can't find anything. They're just chipping away at the objectives. They're getting everything they could ask for. Another DD up for DB as well. So the next fight's gonna be scary. AC almost done. He lacks the item slots now with the Aegis, so you might want to just expend that at some point.
Pretty soon, I think. I don't think you need to slow down if you're Army Geniuses. The way they're kind of choking out GXR is a very effective way of trying to win this game. In your dream, he's gonna have BKB up soon. You definitely want to try and make the plays before he has that up. Mind you, it doesn't really seem to make a difference if you get that initial Wraith Fire Blast or the Burrow Strike. The arrow's always there from LYM to follow up, and you just can't do anything. Maybe you get a Cold Embrace, maybe you get a Snowball save, but that hasn't been the case throughout this game for all the times we've seen. DB now, he's onto the tier 2 bottom tower. He's just clearing out towers by himself. The rest of his team, they're going to smoke TP top, and I'm pretty sure they want the Luna.
Eager to know.
Oh gosh, yeah. In your dream just immediately backs off. I believe that entire movement was under a ward, so they knew. And they know that the Wraith King's alone. It's just that DB also manages to back off at the right time. So the dragon form coming out here from Mizu is not going to line up for much. And just kind of juke each other out here.
Invisibility.
GXR still having faith in their carry. However, DB just going to jump in. He has a double damage rune active with an Aegis up, but he is all by himself. They are at least going to get through the first reincarnation line. Wami's coming in though, a big epicenter and a burrow strike. He's caught 2 of them. There goes In Your Dream. They do get the Aegis, but to what cost? Can they turn? They've almost got the Phoenix. They'll take down Paulison and UK. The DB's on the chase now. Mizu barely avoids the vacuum there from among Dyer. Alacrity, he's going to find his own way out. He has no step for another 5 seconds. DB, he has the Wraith Fire Blast, but Alacrity, he does have a step now. He'll barely get it off, but Wami is looking for the Burrow Strike and does get it into the arrow back. Mizu, he's even been caught now. The wall's been dropped. He's just so slow running through that wall. He can't get out of it. DB, he cleans up Joe Cam as well. As they go on to Mizu. And Davion, he's going to meet Darkseid. Mamang Daya takes care of him. They completely team wiped them. That was DB jumping him by himself for the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, he just mans up. He knows he can't die. They get the big kills. They manage to pop the Eclipse. They know there's no Winter's Curse, although it will be up on the respawn. But no Eclipse means In Your Dream can't really fight. He walks into the wall. Why?
Be careful this. Maybe he just wants to test his rival. As Paulison gonna get taken down. In Your Dream, he copped a lot of damage from his own illusion. The man in the mirror, you know, it's the one that hurts the most. Jump that tier 3 tower.
Dire's middle tower
Goes down DB, just runs to the rack. Swami, he gets the Yule Scepter off onto Alacrity. But he's not going to follow up. He just wanted to use him up. DB, he has that secondary life anyway. He's not too concerned as they do get a curse off, but it's only on one. Mizu, there with the Dragon Tail. They're going to try and follow up. Egg is down. They're going to try and fight now. Vacuum is there. And you're great trying to man fight, but DB, he just hits way too hard. And now the Burrow Strike. Wami's in with a double. This might just be it. There's no buyback on your dream. Epicenter's out. AG with these kind of drafts, man, they just... How do you play against this?
You can't. You just can't.
You can't.
DB, they just know how to play around Wraith King. They know how to play around the Darkseer. They have the combination with a Sand King on top, and they just get everything.
Yeah, you jump in. Maybe they get the first reincarnation light from DB, or maybe not. Luckily for the side of GXR, there is no creeps. So, AG, they're going to have to back off. Another DD room!
Oh, God.
Are you kidding?
What did AG do to get such favorable runes every time? Maybe it's all the Atomic War they play, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe Ice Frog is digging that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is this?
Maybe the CSGO players, John. Well, we've seen the effect that has. Alacrity, DB, he's manning up. This guy's a Giga Chad. He just wants any target he can get and they all run. 5 heroes see a Wraith King and they're just like, nope, not this guy.
He's just by himself. He just blinks in alone. His entire team's just like a blink distance away, but they only have that one blink, well, 2 blinks on the Sand King and the Darkseer. Now, Moonlight up, they get a good scan. Jocam.
Yep, Jocam is going to run the right way. Lines being drawn out towards the bot lane. Oh, in your dream. Wami, that Iron Shot touched in your dream, but I don't think he realized. He didn't realize. He's going to try. Burrow strikes up. Wami trying to find the target. Oh, he gets it as well. There'll be no arrow, but they drop the wall. They'll get the Yules up. And in your dream, he can't do anything. Iron Shells, John, 450 damage per second. Paulison, he's all right. Arrow, not going to land. He blinks away. God, 450 damage, Don. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, completely balanced. Thank you for the gift, Ice Frog. The gift of Darkseer. Make sure to add those extra decimals in the vacuum. It's important. It's a big nerf if you change that up. Or a buff, depending on how people feel about the Darkseer. AG, they've choked out the side of GXR. No more outer towers. There are good wards here from GXR watching that low ground. They can kind of get their defense off with a good curse. Just kind of need to see that opportunity. Roshan is up, but AG don't seem interested in getting more lives up in DB. He just runs up. I mean, he doesn't care. He's a big raid boss right now. And yeah, he's just going to push by himself as well. Just get the creeps down, slug a little way. We've seen AG do this before. They just do a non-committal push like this to force a response, and they just go back farming.
Sometimes I just like to watch Mamang die. John, look at this. Look at these poor creeps. Not by creeps.
He's pretty much got the refresh up. It's a double vac, double wall, 4 iron shells. 4 iron shells.
Yep. 4 iron. Oh.
Yeah.
No, wait, he gets more than... No, he can... Theoretically, he can have 6, John. If he times it out right. He can have 6 on the map. But then you wouldn't... That would be very rare to have 6 of them. But it would be hilarious to have 900 DPS.
GXR, they were kind of running around towards the Roche. Don't really manage to find anyone. AG holding on to that 15k lead in your dream. Still lagging behind by 5k. One big item up on the Wraith King that the Luna will not be able to match up against. And they'll just go for Roshan. It's been left alone long enough. Time to get that Ag Shard, Cheese, third life up for DB. Just get the Ag Shard towards Mamang Daya. Just give us the normal punch here. They've got something to go through BKB. I want to see that.
Oh, these amateurs, John. They're not grouping around the Roshan with the iron shells. Oh, DB? DB's jumped in again. He's daring them. You want to fight in the Roshan pit? Fight me outside of it. Catch me outside. How about that, says DB. They do not want to catch him outside, apparently. Paulson
Oh, Mizu.
is going to try and run. Meanwhile, Vacuum, Jokan, he's on the cliff now. Meanwhile, Mamang Daya apparently finds Paulson. Mizu is just walking so slow on the arrow. Right across the wall. A double kill for Mamang Daya. Meanwhile, DB, he kills off Alacrity. GG, they've had no more. I've had enough of watching this game. This game's over.
Oh god. Army Geniuses laying onto what looked like one of the stronger teams coming into the groups. GXR, they went off to a 2-0 series win. It doesn't
Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant's courier has been slain in Cold Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
But I'm worth so much more.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Holy Trinity.
Dire's top tower barracks are under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's top tower is Dire's top barracks has fallen. Dire's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I am top.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Divine. Divine.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is no more. Radiant's courier has been killed. Dire must fight to protect their ancient. Dire ancient of wicked sin. Unbelievable chance they now. The dire ancient faces its greatest test. Victory!
ability.
tower is in danger.
A tie to the impurities.
This too shall pass. The dire scan, on the hunt for radiant forces. Radiant are scanning for enemies. Radiant should look to their bottom tower. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Take that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. The Radiant Glyph is now active. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. 5 seconds remain. It is Radiant's ban. It is Dire's ban. Radiant's turn to ban. Seconds remain. 5 seconds. Dire's turn to ban. Radiant's turn to pick. Dire's turn to pick.
League's assassin.
Felt like they gave way too much space out to AG to get the draft they wanted. Like that last pick Darkseer. I mean, no one expects the Darkseer mid.
10
To be fair,
seconds.
AG has run that like twice now, and it's just been highly effective. They get the comfort picks for Wami on the Sand King. They get the Wraith King out for DB, and he just runs forward, blinks in front without the rest of his team, doesn't care. And they just built up off that aggression. I think GXR needs to be ready to lay it back. They need to be ready to play a faster game up against a team like AG. We've seen that kind of work against AG. Once their early game starts to get rocky, they start to overcommit to fights. They take fights that feel, doesn't necessarily net them a win. We'll see if GXR can change that game pacing here. And I would have liked to see the respect ban on one of those heroes. Instead, they take out the Broodmother and a Mirana. So at least you don't have the combination with a Sand King Mirana here for AG coming out. They could still opt to take it. In fact, all of Wami's heroes have been left in the pool, and AG tend to kind of open up with a Wami hero first, just before they're banned out, as he does seem to set the tempo for the team. So we'll see if he feels like playing the Timbersaw, the Mars, or the Sand King once more. They've got all the options there. GXR, they start off with the Enchantress. AG start with Nyx. So they've got a great way of scouting around, finding the stacks, contesting the stacks, and GXR do follow up with that Enchantress on the puck. So they've got their own ways of scouting out with the Enchanted Creep, some strong laning presence as well from the Ench, and some great team fight coming out with the puck. If they wanted to on GXR, they could opt to take the Phoenix down the line to have that Dreamcoil Egg combo. AG, they will dip into the DK. So they're not going to go into the Sand King. I'm going to assume that the DK is our off-lane hero for Wami, as again, they prioritize that in the first phase. They could still run it mid here for Mamang Daya. Puck versus DK, not too shabby of a lane for the DK. We'll have to see if AG breaks that mold with the DK, where it's basically just an off-lane hero now.
Dire's turn to ban. Seconds remain. 5 seconds. Radiant's turn to ban. Seconds. It is Dire's ban.
I think it's down to the support picks as well. Like, they didn't have the option for, say, a Lion. Some stable control coming out would have been really beneficial to GXR. Even the Mana Drain would have forced at least the Ag Shard to be picked up by DB, so he's not completely safe. But I don't know, like, you can ban all these pause ones, but AG, they just have such a wide pool. I don't even think it's like DB heroes they need to target. They need to target Mamang Daya at this point. They do ban out the Wraith King. It's a respect ban for DB, as he just got out of control. We'll have to see what AG picks up. They could go for more natural, of course, like, say, Medusa. We've seen DB on Medusa, and he plays fairly quick on the Medusa himself. Like, I think he's one of the players that used to prefer Mask of Madness Rush and just going for a fighting build. So that's still one way AG can kind of play quick here. We'll have to see. Like, there's just so many options. I think for GXR, I'm wondering what... They banned a Darkseer? On AG side? Alright. Okay. Yeah.
10 seconds. 5 seconds. Dire must choose.
Looks like they're assuming the DK is going to be mid already for Mamang Daya. Again, not a bad guess because I think AG's assuming the puck's mid as well. So they just want to work that mid matchup.
Radiance.
We'll see if AG will flex it around. I think you do want something active for Wami. GXR, they do pick up the In Your Dream Terrorblade very early on. And that is one way to kind of get running. This is one of In Your Dream's comfort heroes. Of course, the Luna was one as well and didn't quite pan out. So I think the worry here is still AG playing a lot quicker than Terrorblade's pace. They've got the Nyx. And we have seen Nyxes just scurry around, look for Terrorblade when he's low, when Vendetta's up, and just kind of get those ganks in the jungle. That's still something AG can do with the Nyx on their side. So they can still apply that pressure on In Your Dream to prevent him from being that massive core that GXR needs him to be. AG, they go with the Shadow Demon, which is one way to also handle Terrorblade. Like the Demonic Purge is nice to hold him back. The damage you do in lane with magic damage is great. You can clone Terrorblade out when he has Metamorphosis up, kind of use that against him for a while. And you can set up for your team. Disruption into Dragon Tail, Disruption into Nyx. Impale is big, and you can kind of stack up, like you love to point it out with the Shadow Demon, but it's very easy to get multiple camps stacked up with this hero.
Radiant must choose.
Clockwork!
10 seconds. 5 seconds. Radiant's turn.
Still
to
lines
battle.
up, and we go with the whoa. This is great. Like Pugna into Terrorblade. That's gonna force an early BKB to be built up on In Your Dream, just to not have to deal with a constant decrep coming out, and it gives Army Genius insane push. They've got DK Dragon form. They've got the Nether Blast coming true. It's going to be pretty annoying for GXR to kind of hold those lanes. Like once levels are up, the Pugna's just going to look to shove in. AG, it's shaping up to be a very fast draft from them, and GXR kind of play fast with a Puck, with a Clock, with the Ench. The Terrorblade can kind of join in after a couple of items as well. When Metamorphosis is up, you'd rather not against the Pugna. And I think the Pugna just gives you all of the answers to the Terrorblade. We don't tend to see the Pugna nowadays as a counter pick, but it is a really strong counter pick against that.
Seconds. 5 seconds remain.
It's not too bad. I honestly don't think it's too bad. Like, your hold on GXR isn't amazing to lock in the Lycan. I guess Puck is there So Dream Coil's your one big concern, but it does allow you to play quick. It reminds me of Lil Gun. The way you build it up is really Echo Saber. And just go for fighting. It fits the tempo of AG. I don't think it's too bad. I think another wacky thing they could do is maybe DK safe lane for DB, Pugna mid for Mamang Daya, something else off lane for Wami to give them team fight. That could be one way to kind of flex it around here as well for AG. I mean, we have seen pause 1 DKs. It's still a fairly quick tempo. You don't want to sit around and farm. You just want to hit 6, melt the tower, change lane, melt tower there, and kind of go there. GXR, I find it interesting that they're always forced to last ban Husker. No one's comfy giving that opportunity to AG, and you saw it. If they get these wacky heroes, they'll always take them. They actually go with the Luna into Terrorblade, but they've got Shadow Demon. So they've got the Luna cloning here, and it's just a matter of how fast DB and In Your Dream can farm, who gets more map space out. I think AG has the lineup that does play really quick on objectives, and I think GXR is going to hold off on that really hard.
5 seconds.
You've got the option for more, as that was left unbanned. You could kind of break the coil with a spear or just play with... oh, okay, they go with the DP instead, so that gives them some push here on GXR's part. And they can look to take these team fights a little bit better. The silence is really good against the heroes on AG's side, and they can kind of look for their own pace. And they've got a decent pace coming out for that offlane, very sustainable offlane as well, good amount of heals for the DP, along with the Enchantress down the line. AG, I don't know if that's going to scare them off, though. Like, this pace they have with the DK, with a Pugna is still really fast. Even the Luna, once it gets a couple of items up, I think DB's going to be willing to join in rather than farm and just play that faster tempo. So the key thing for GXR is buy time for In Your Dream to farm up and get that Terrorblade big. Yeah. I think I'd lean towards AG's draft. I just really like Pugna into Terrorblade. It's just always annoying for that Terrorblade to have to deal with. Wami is going to take that offlane Pugna as well, so they're just going to keep the DK mid. And you have to deal with the Nether Blast early on. Sure, Metamorphosis level 1, you can kind of just whack away Pugna, force him back. But once Decrep's up and running, it terribly doesn't feel great. You're just constantly shoved away from the creep wave. You can't get the hits off. And your wave is always shoved in because of Nether Blast. So I think AG's got that pacing to keep IYD in check even from laning. And GXR is going to have to work extra hard to get as much as possible in this early game. Mamang Daya. Atomic DP. These guys play too much of that game. Way too much.
Yeah, I don't know what you do yet. It's, I guess I've got to try it very, very soon. Maybe after this game, although it is...
Time flies by fast. You're having fun. DB. They're actually having a casual conversation about their freaking atomic warrior. Jeez, guys. I don't need all iron fights. Come on.
Yeah. It's good to, this is what you love about Pro Series. I think I said it earlier today, but it seems like every team just starts to just treats it like the game's just for, like, it's for money, obviously, right? But it's about having fun too. Yeah. No hard feelings, basically.
It's a party soon. UK. Yeah, I mean, it just feels like this is an tournament where people are just much more happy to be loose. And I love seeing it. You know, like in lobby, there's always a lot of chat when things aren't too serious. And you get a lot of that all chat in game. Great to see the personalities of players come out.
Yeah, I mean, it is good. We'll start off with the bot lane, shall we? UK, Pos 5 Nyx Assassin, DB going to be there on that Pos 1 Luna. Of course, Jokam going to be on the Pos 4 Clockwork. And you're going to have Mizu on that offlane Death Prophet. Now, John, it's been a while since we've seen this. But it's the TB Death Prophet meta again from GXR. We've gone back a couple years.
Oh, God. Right. I remember having to cast that literally every other game at some point. And to be fair, this lane for Mizu doesn't feel too bad. You've got a good range advantage over the Luna. You've got wave clear, whereas the Luna does not. And the support partner for DB is melee. So that means Jokam can just run him down. We saw that with the battery assault. You have to be careful without Spirit Siphon up, knowing that Cripple Swarm is there. UK and DB can kind of look for the setup. Lucent Beam to set up for the Impale is pretty strong. And it's still a Nyx. It has a lot of regen, so you can just stand forward and take the hits.
No, Impale out, Mizu. He doesn't have that Spirit Siphon. They might just keep chasing him down. And this is what the AG do to people. They just start running you down, even at level 1. Luckily, Jokam's going to be there to cut them off, but now Jokam could be in danger. Creeps just everywhere. They don't know where they're going. They're just being pulled all across, but now there's going to be like a triple creep wave coming the way of DB. And I say triple, it's more like a double, but it's coming down towards AG, and that's going to be a lot of experience and gold that DB is going to be able to soak up along with UK.
Yeah, and they can't really stop it. Like, they are still going for the battery assault. DB is going low, but he's willing to actually cop the hits. I love that AG's just willing to do that, and they get the double impale to hold back. So EXP should flow in, and this lane should stabilize for DB. But as the levels go up, once Spirit Siphon's ready, Mizu should be able to sustain. And still, gonna be a bit tricky under the tower. Just have to kind of juggle those creeps around well.
We'll have a look at the other lanes as well. Of course, mid lane, you've got Alacrity there on his punk against Mamangdaya on the mid DK. Mamangdaya, I'm pretty sure he's going to have no problems in this laning phase. We've seen this punk versus DK matchup many, many times, and it's just an even trading lane. No one really dies unless they completely overextend. I imagine it should be the same this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be a very static lane full of farm. The puck does have the advantage in jumping forward for the water runes, maybe sniping a bounty rune off of the DK as well. The DK is not a very bot reliant hero, so again, just gonna be stable. Level 6 is where it gets spicy. That's when Alacrity can look for a side lane rotation and Mamangdaya can look to shove mid. It's just gonna have to wait until those big ults are up. Gives us a chance to look at the top lane, where you do have Wami on that off lane Pugna. He's around with LYM on the Shadow Demon. They are laning up against In Your Dream's Terrorblade and Paulson on the Enchantress. They are making it hard for In Your Dream to actually just farm. He's at 6-1. Wami's at 8-6. They have managed to just zone him out with a decrep up, man. That magic damage is painful. Now, there is an early magic stick from In Your Dream, so he can heal up quite nicely. But you have to watch the Pugna Shadow Demon lane. If you can get good amounts of Shadow Poison on with the decrep and with Nether Blast, that Terrorblade's good as dead.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, In Your Dream, he's not able to CS properly, right? Because every time he walks in, you can just decrepify him. Every time. He just, what are you going to do? You can't hit anything. Paulson, he's going to try and get LYM out of the lane, but that's really not the problem. I'll deal with Wami as well, and I think Paulson's just going to have to be working overtime to try and get these guys out of here. Otherwise, In Your Dream, he's going to be so far behind in CS.
Yeah. You just have to try to stabilize the Terrorblade lane. You actually dive bot.
Yeah, onto the Nyx Assassin UK. He's going to be alright. DB going to be kind of frontlining for him, and let's make sure he does remain just safe and fine. So it looks like no first blood's going to be drawn across the map quite yet. I'm just kind of happy with the way the game's going. It's like Wami was forced back to the fountain, so he will have to make the walk of shame up, and that is going to mean that In Your Dream is going to be able to catch up quite nicely now on the Terrorblade. Even pops the Metamorphosis. I believe that was what probably forced Wami out of the laning phase, but this is going to buy a lot of time that In Your Dream really needs, because he is quite far behind, and it is nicely catching up now.
Worthwhile use of that spell. Of course, while he holds that lane solo, Paulson just clears out by himself.
Yeah, here they go again. Disruptions there. Wommy will have another Nether Blast coming up, and they blocked him. They body block him. Oh, that is perfect. And LYM, he gets a tipper in your dream. What are you gonna do? The guy body blocks you with such beauty. You have to tip him.
You gotta love that old school Warcraft tree block. Always get that done. And well, Paulson left alone. Left his Terrorblade alone, so that's what you get. Yeah, you need to be there to throw your body forward. That's gonna set back in your dream even more. And he's lagging behind in farm. He loses some gold. He's not gonna be feeling good in this lane, and it's just the Pugna. You can't stop the Pugna from just constantly harassing out the TB.
Yeah, Paulson now could be in danger as well. Wommy,
here we go again.
And yeah, they're trying to block. They won't get it off. They needed the tree, but it won't matter. It won't matter. Paulson making the walk of shame himself now on the Enchantress. There you go. This off-lane Pugna already working wonders for AG.
Just getting everything they could ask for. At the least for GXR, they're building up stacks on the bottom camp. So they've got one jungle access point. You just hit the level 6 spikes from Mamangdayang and Alacrity, and that's when you see AG just group up mid. They want that tower fast. They've got a lot of time on that dragon form. They've got the siege creep, but not much of a creep wave left.
No chip away at it. Impale not going to really connect onto Joe Cam. All the heroes in the mid lane. Mamangdayang looks like he wants to get a few more cheeky hits in if he can. Even Wommy's going to show up now. Just everyone. A bit of a party in the mid lane. It won't last for long though. Wommy back his way up top. Suppose he thought maybe he could contribute with the Nether Blast, but the Seed Trip going down kind of ruins all that. And he may as well go back to abusing in your dream on the Terrorblade. Here we go. Decrepify. Oh, he life drained the illusion. Oh no, Wommy, a bit of a misclick. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they're going to try and go after UK, and they've got him. Cryptsworn will be enough from Mizu. DB's going to remain fine, but this bot lane has gone decently for GXR. Mizu, he's actually keeping up with CS quite nicely. DB looks to be kind of in the same boat as in your dream. In fact, they've got the same CS.
Yeah, it's a good bounce back for IYD. He's gotten some stacks in the jungle. It's the point where the Terrorblade can just play in that area. That should open up the push here, though.
I think Bolson's dead, John. Life drain. Yeah. Oh, no, he's not dead yet, but the Shadow Poison. That'll be enough. Meanwhile, bottom lane, UK's going to be in trouble. I know there's a Dream Coil up top as well. Alacrity's trying to get Wommy. He's not going to be able to get him. Back down to the bot lane where DB and UK both end up dying. And Alacrity is still chasing. LYM, he's going to get caught. Nice setup there from Alacrity. 3 heroes across the map end up dropping for AG.
And big kills for GXR. Finally getting punishment off on that Luna. DB still TPing down bot. Like, he's still alone here. It's a risky spot for him to be in.
Oh, it certainly is. He's getting dived right now. He's not level 6 either, so no Eclipse, and yeah, he's dead. TPs are there, but DB, he's going to have to make his own walk of shame. There's LYM, he shows up. I don't think he can find a trade. Joe Cam, he just TPs right in front of him, right in front of the tier 1. He's just out of there. Mizu, yeah, he's well and truly gone. You're not going to be able to catch up to him now. GXR, just a couple mistakes and... Excuse me, not GXR, rather AG. A couple mistakes being made, and it's going to give a lot of space over that they worked hard to get. Like, in your dream, he's 3rd in net worth. I don't think he should be there. But he is.
And he's died once in lane. He still gets all the space in the jungle. AG, in comparison, don't have many stacks. They are chasing out Paulson at least.
But they are. Raindrops were up, which did help a little bit, but not quite enough. LYN and Wommy still a real nuisance here with this combination of heroes. It's one of those games where you kind of expect to get those hooks up, at least a casual cloak when you're up against this Pugna. Plenty of raindrops to come as well.
Yeah, you just got to mitigate that early burst coming out here on AG's side. They're still keeping that pressure bot. Mizu is all alone. If they manage to somehow catch him out here, that could be big.
Yeah, they're moving in. Mizu, life drain is there. He's going to try and back, but he's on the wrong side of the map for himself. UK's even going to TP just in case they need it, but they don't. Wommy's got it under control. And that should be the bot tier 1 tower. staying alive, at least for now, because Mizu can't finish it off. They might even be able to secure the other bot tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's the power of Pugna. You can just get the Nether Blast off. Eventually the tower falls. I'm surprised AG is not really committed to a lane to push yet. And they did take the mid-tier 1 eventually, but we're not seeing the top or bot lanes being completely shoved in. I think they need to start chipping away at the map, because In Your Dream is still farming like a madman. And his Terrorblade already has the Power Treads Dragonlance. That's when the jungle farm really just stabilizes for this hero. And GXR are comfy enough to start smoking up now.
Absolutely, UK. Spot this out. Rocket Flare going to give the vision. Joe Cam has the hook shot, but is not going to go for it. They just don't want to dive the tier 1 top tower yet. I'll leave it be. Alacrity. It's going to back out. Even with the haste rune, he just couldn't quite find a target to go on. Army Geniuses, they're going to be able to just kind of sit back, relax, and secure some more farm up. But you look at DB in comparison to In Your Dream, there's a big net worth gap of 1.2k right now. It's definitely some very bad news for DB.
Not the kind of start you want in that Luna. He is being given some space now to help clear out in the jungle. Ancient stacks, Mamangai just tanking true for DB. So that's going to be a decent gold injection. They get the jump up top.
Paulson, he's having a very tough time. He's got the casual cloak queued up and he's going to need it. Even then, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to survive, quite frankly. It's just so much magic damage. It almost feels unfair. Hook shot.
OYM.
Yeah, he gets caught out. Joe Cam with a very nice hook shot out. Mizu. In fact, Alacrity will be the one to take the kill.
Bottom tower is under attack.
All things being said and done, I don't know if AG are doing quite enough with this draft to make it as effective as they would have intended.
Dire's top
Nah,
tower.
the push does feel a bit slower. They lose their bot tier 1. And finding the mid was big. They're just not using that space for it just yet. Maybe with this blink up and Mamangdaya, they can look to take some engagements now, start forcing some fights out, buying some space for that big Luna to keep farming up. You manage to eventually chip away at the tier 1 up top, so you can start setting up for the aggressive wards in this top jungle. Look at GXR though, they're willing to fight their smoke.
And why the hell not? Them up, Wommy, that'd be a great target to start on. Instead, they might just go into UK, but no, they want the plug now. They want their revenge. He'll try to TP, but the Dream Coil is there from Alacrity, and they will punish Wommy. And with that exorcism, they might still have time to try and rotate into the mid-tier 1 tower. It's halfway through, and it looks like they're not going to be able to get that much damage off onto it. In fact, they're not even going to bother. They won't even bother trying. They'll just leave it be.
Alacrity.
In trouble. Impel though? No. Phase shift is there. They didn't get the Spy Carapace to get things started, and UK not happy about that. I think they could have probably just secured the kill with just the Impel Dragon Tail, but he wanted to get a bit greedier with the Vendetta Strike, and obviously it doesn't work out for him. And Joe Cam, the hook shot hits the neutral camp. They can still try to go onto this SD, but it looks like they'll just kind of go against that and get a D-ward off and just run.
Yeah, I mean, this game is still holding steady at a 1k lead for GXR. Still the smoke play here. AG.
Yeah. Well, Alacrity might break this smoke. He's got to be careful not to get caught out, though. Wommy might run right into him. Smoke broken. They get the Dragon Tail. Very, very nice pick off there for Army Geniuses. They're gonna make it a 7-7 now in this game too. Problem still stands though. In Your Dream is farming freely, and again, that's never really a great thing.
No. And he's about to finish up the SNY. It'll be a big spike for him. DB's looking to catch up Paulson.
Yes, he's indeed Paulson. I mean, they're gonna get the vision. Disruption. Oh, he's gonna get it. LYM. He just didn't give up. Paulson. Oh, it's a tough game for Paulson. What do you say about the poor guy? He's 0-5-1 now. It's just been such a disgusting game for an Enchantress.
He's buying space, Wommy.
Yep, they're gonna find Wommy, and he breaks the leash. In Your Dream, he gets him with the illusion.
Pretty awkward. I think Wami's starting to give a little bit too much on the Pugna away towards GXR. GXR just finding the punishment. 8-8. Less than 1k lead bouncing between both sides. It's kind of interesting how Mamang Dai is the one keeping up farm with In Your Dream. Like this DK is going to ramp into that BKB relatively soon, whereas again, In Your Dream is going for the SNY build, which is standard. No early BKB means the decrep is still going to be an issue in the middle of the fights. They just haven't had those fights against the Terrorblade yet. I think the one issue right now for AG as well is you probably need to finish up that Aether Lens on Wami to really feel comfy with a spell spam, with positioning the Nether Ward as well. And without that item, he is a bit more forward than I think you'd be comfy with on the Pugna. So GXR, they've got the hook ready on Jokam.
Yeah, Wami gonna try and run Alacrity. No Dream Coil up. In fact, he has to be very careful now. Alacrity purged up. I think he's gonna be just fine though. They aren't gonna try and make the jump in. UK, he's making his way over, but he was a few seconds off the Vendetta, and instead they're gonna go into the mid lane where they have found the Enchantress Paulison.
Candy to my heart.
Just can't catch a break. Top lane. LYM, he does get caught in the end though, so Wami could still be in a spot of danger. Alacrity gonna try and figure out where this guy's gone and is gonna run right into him. You've got the Dream Call up, but Alacrity, he's been blocked off. The Nether Ward's blocked him off.
Yeah, good positioning there. Oh.
No, they're still going though. UK, it's gonna die.
What ingratitude!
So that they still find an Nyx Assassin anyway. Won't really matter.
Yeah, it's just a support kill, so it doesn't feel as bad for AG. AG needs to respect the vision game here on GXR. They have been pretty on point with all these sentries to watch those usual rotation spots on the Nyx. And again, just protect that Terrorblade. In Your Dream, level 14, SNY up. He's got a ton of farm flying through. He could just go for the BKB next, and I think he'd be pretty set. You don't worry about the Pugna. The entire counter pick just doesn't feel great once that's up. And you don't really have a way of managing the Terrorblade. You pick Luna into TV. Your Luna's not that farmed yet. Still lagging by about 1k behind that Terrorblade overall. Still needs a lot of catching up and just not getting enough space out.
Yeah.
They are still giving more room towards Mamang Daya. BKB still not done. So he doesn't have the item to really show up and control these fights yet. And I think as long as this holds steady, GXR feels great. Like, the push isn't insane from AG. The team fights aren't insane as well. And they're already starting to get some of those earlier BKBs Mizu has done. So the DP is very protected in the middle of these fights, can just stand, get the Spirit Siphons off, and get the Exorcism off full duration.
Yeah, I mean, we're they had like a ticking time bomb kind of draft last game. This game, it's kind of the other way around. Like, GXR, they are going to be a massive problem in about 5 to 10 minutes. And they're going to jump in. Jokam, an immediate hook shot out, has caught the DK. He may lose his life here, and he does. They get the clockwork, but now Alacrity is going to move in. Going right in onto Mamang Daya. The life drain's trying to help him out. Mamang Daya actually surviving as Alacrity. He needs to back off, but In Your Dream's here now. He's going to double kill already. Mamang Daya will be the triple. Wami immediately going to TP up. And meanwhile, Paulison is just securing bounty runes as Mizu does also die to LYM.
Yeah, it's the least Paulson can do. I don't think he wants to show up to these fights. A heal could be helpful, but he gets resources for his team. AG, a bit of an awkward fight. I believe that was a blink into the clockwork while the hook was coming out. So they kind of break the clockwork initiation, but they also don't get the Dragon Tail stun they were looking for. And they don't manage to set up for that team fight in the right way. 4k lead for GXR off the back of that fight. In Your Dream now massive. 12k net worth, 4k above the next hero in Mamang Daya and DB from AG side. And he is just going to go Scotty. He doesn't feel like Wami's been a threat at all, which is fair. Like, in lane, Wami was highly effective. Now, his impact feels negligible. It's just not the kind of zoning tool you want on the Terrorblade just yet. Feels like he does need a lot more farm. He is going for the Glimmer Cape next to protect himself. I think we're going to have to see the Ags is really the big spike for a Pugna. He doesn't have space to really farm that heavily though.
GXR I'm more than happy to just keep this game going. In your dream, he's just about to outright buy an Iviscardi up. Gets 2 ultimate orbs straight off the bat with 5k worth of gold. Just needs a couple hundred more to have the point booster. Well, they got coils out. They got UK. Spike Carapace not going to help him here as the orb does fly right through for Alacrity. 11-4 now. 4k net worth lead. I'm looking back at DB on this Luna. It's really hard to imagine him being able to beat in your dream right now in these team fights. No matter how far he goes with this build up.
It's just too slow. Like, you'd expect Luna to really get much more, but GXR has done a great job of slowing that farm up. They've kind of forced AG to just focus on the triangle stacks. They don't have control in the bot lane all too much. And GXR just gonna keep smoking up. Dream Coil's half a minute away, but the hook shot's ready. They can just pick someone off again.
Yeah, LYM. Hook shot, yeah, right on target. Alacrity was there first anyway, and well, now they're gonna go straight into that mid-tier 1 tower. It looks like they're even gonna go straight for a Roshan. They won't even commit to the tier 1. They just leave the illusions to do the job. And the illusions are actually doing a very nice job. They force the glyph out. And with the siege creep, it's not going to take too long. They're trying to quickly rush the Roshan down. And that should be the first Aegis of the game going the wave in your dream. No meta necessary. You might lose your Exorcism, but honestly, I don't really think GXR needs Exorcism at this point. I mean, they could wait the 2 minutes though.
And they already got the tower. They don't need to force that team fight. They can just keep building up, maybe hit that level 20 spike on IYD for either Fist Talents. More stats is always good in the Terrorblade. Or just wait for the Crystallis, not even the full Daedalus. Get the Crystallis up on your Terrorblade, his damage output skyrockets. You cannot compare on AG's side. They played it too slow. Like, Mamang Daya had the blink, they never found the blink ganks they needed on that DK while it was early on. And now they're just kind of struggling to get map space out. They're playing as 4, they're trying to play on the opposite side of where DB's farming up. They're not finding the scout potential from UK's Nyx. The sentry game from GXR has been on point to protect. And they're playing at 7k deficit with a Pugna. Like, you expect them to be taking that early lead with towers, with the gold. They're just not able to. Like, all they've killed is really Paulson for the past 10 minutes.
So your dream has been caught out alone. Maybe they could try to burst him down and get rid of this Aegis. He's still alive and has the Sunder up. In fact, he doesn't even use it. He just walks away. Hook shot. Oh, right on target. They found the Pugna. Wami. So he's set to fall. Alacrity got LYM. Alacrity has gone way too deep, though, has ended up killing himself. But they do get a 2-for-1 trade. Joe Cam, he'll get a tip there from Wami. And in your dream, I mean, he pops nothing. He's perfectly fine. Looks like he pops Sunder after the fact. He has the meta up now. Doesn't really need it for the tier 2 bottom tower, but we'll probably just hold out, maybe for the next team fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
They can just easily melt these objectives. AG is not in position to defend or shove out in any other lane. And they're just going to have to give it up. They do spot Mizu out, though, but they don't commit.
No, they certainly don't.
bottom tower has fallen.
There's a Spike Carapace there from UK that'll give them the information. There is a Nyx assassin around. GXR, they're just going to take the... I mean, this is very surgical from GXR, isn't it, John? They're just taking the outpost. There's not much to say about it. Everything's just going well for them. And AG, they're kind of stuck hoping that DB can keep up and farm and contest them. Maybe you could kind of rely on Mamang Daya as well once he has the Ags up. Though again, against In Your Dreams Terrorblade, when he's this far ahead, it's so hard to see it. And now they have a DD rune Alacrity as well. We'll see what they can pull off. It's just tough.
I'm just surprised they haven't really played around with Luna illusions, say with the disruption, group up on a tower, push that way. We didn't really see that come out. Now the BKBs are flying out and more heroes on GXR. Alacrity has one flying in. The impact is just severely limited. They don't have control through the BKBs outside of Demonic Purge. That's only going to be going on to 1 hero though at the time. No Ags for OYM, so you don't have those multi-charges. And GXR just control the map. The top tier 1, they can look for the tier 2s now. They can start playing around. Age is still up for a minute and a half. Just play clean. AG, they're just kind of forced to keep trying to build up. Scotty's almost done on DB. In fact, it should be done. Just needs to buy out the point booster. That's going to leave with no buyback, but he does need the item up to have presence. And he does finally pick it up. So he has more stats. He's got a good slow healing reduction, but their high ground's going to be siege now.
Yeah, it certainly will be. D3 tower under siege again. Mamandaya gonna jump in for a Dragon Tail stun. You haven't even popped the meta yet. This is the worst part, is they're gonna get the tier 3 tower and no meta is necessary. UK though, they jump in on Alacrity, they burst down the puck, and now you might not want to force the fight. They will also kill off Jokam.
What is this?
BKB just came out, or is rather coming out on the courier. But in your dream, he needs some time for that. Mizu, he'll also leave, and looks like he should be alright. They have left behind Polison, but he's going to be able to TP away. So in the end, they lose 2. They do get the tier 3 tower. They hold on to the meta, though. Perhaps, maybe it would have been smarter they used the meta. I'm not 100% sure. But in your dream, he had the BKB on the courier. It wasn't with him, and I guess that's why he held out.
Yeah, and just playing safe. Aegis expires now, so it's time for GXR to play it a bit safe, wait for the respawns before forcing any issue. It's more time to build into the Daedalus for In Your Dream. And he's just riding comfortably at the top of the net worth charts right now. 3k above DB's Luna, which is not the worst gap we've seen, but significant enough for the Luna to feel like it's behind. Again, little Luna's here that feels like it does need a slight item advantage to really have that big spike on hand. And AG aren't really able to use that defense to take an objective. Like, they're not clumped around for the top tier 2, not in position for the mid tier 2 either. Outpost does get taken back by GXR, and they just keep clearing out the map, keep choking out AG, cut off their farm sources, not give them opportunities to find single target pickoffs. They are starting to play around with their Luna illusions just a bit, and so they can get it done, but the counterplay is there from Paulson. He can just enchant an illusion and use it himself to farm up.
Yeah. And the illusions do tend to be, you know, they're all right. I honestly just prefer a creep myself. It's one of those things. So we'll see what they get done. I mean, a 4k net worth lead. It's not looking too bad for Army Geniuses after that last team fight. In your dream, though, he's gonna have a Daedalus up. He's queued up a Satanic. He's queued up an Aghanim Scepter. He's going very late game. Hook shot. Top lane, UK is going to be caught out. Jokam has a BKB. He has the bullwhip to slow him down. And UK, he is going down. He does have buyback. And Jokam gives him the tip over. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah. I saw a little battle of the illusions there down mid. Always nice to see. The war of illusions turning against each other. It's pretty painful for AG. Like, they can still hold on, but have to be careful about putting DB up front. They are kind of just latching onto that mid tier 2. The Ags is finally up here on Mamandaya, so he's got the Black Dragon form ready to go. And that might be where the team fights turn around. Just having that additional damage flying out here could help the cause. Again, it's just been super passive. I think AG just take the backseat with a Straft when it's supposed to be run a little bit faster, and that just means that you're forcing late game against Terrorblade with Luna, and it's just not a great feeling either way. The Daedalus for In Your Dream is almost done. He's kind of playing the inventory juggle right now. Once that's up, you know what you do about that damage.
Drops there from Jokam, Con's pushback, they've got the shivers, they've got the detection. Can he TP? He actually cancels it himself. Just like, no, I'm not gonna make it. I'll just cancel it on my own. Could have been the battery assault as well. Either way, he wasn't making it out.
No. He is also going for the Dagon buildup, so it's all about just deleting here for Decrep, going all in. And that is one way to turn it around, because the Terrorblade did, well, he has a BKB, but once the BKB fades, maybe burst down in your dream. He does have the Daedalus up, so if you don't burst him, he's going to burst you very quickly. As GXR, they're just going to line up for the racks now. Like, and they still hold on to Metamorphosis this entire time. And In Your Dream finally pops it for the push.
Yep. This time around, no risking. I mean, when you look at a meta TB, you know you don't really want to fight into that. He's hitting for about 500 damage as Mamang Daya is going to jump in. Could be very dangerous for him if the reflection's out. And look at the damage output from In Your Dream. Now the Dream Coil's there to set up. They just blow up LYM. They do decrepify the Luna at least, so DB has a bit of time, but not for long. As In Your Dream's in an ultra kill. Make it a rampage in just a second, John. He'll go for a fountain dive for this one, and we'll get the rampage going. We might have a double rampage. In Your Dream, are you going to give up? He will get out of the fountain. He'll get asunder. They got to Polisson. Poor old Polisson. He just still can't get away. But that's what happens when you give In Your Dream Terrorblade, John. He just does Terrorblade things. And then onto the tier 4. He's not going to waste his time. They haven't got buybacks. He's going for tier 4 towers. He's had enough of this game.
Yeah, they know they're so far ahead. AG, they just don't have the defensive hold. We need to play this draft quicker. They're still going to hold out. They're not calling it yet.
Oh, they know. They know it's over. Now, how are you going to defend? They'll just sit there thinking about it. There you go. There's a GG well play call. Good series though. I mean, AG game 1, a pretty brilliant draft. Love to see it. Game 2, GXR come back and get a 1-to-1 series.
Yeah, it's